Hey guys, so before you guys check out the reaction, I'm recording this portion of the video after I've already seen episodes 5 through 7. I actually went ahead, rewatched the episode, took down 4 pages worth of notes, and the reason why I am sitting down right now to record this intro portion here is because the reaction time, so I've edited the reaction portion so far, and now I am sitting down to record the discussion, which will go at the end following the reaction. The reaction portion right now, including the intro, is about 45 minutes long, and the 4 pages of notes here that I have, I can easily see this video being an hour and 40 to 2 hours long. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because transparency has been something that I've always been afraid to talk about. I've always been afraid to tell people, hey, the video that you guys come to look forward to might not be out when you can expect it, which typically has been once a week. I no longer want to do what I did back during season 8, season 9, season 10, where I was putting out 2 to 3 hour red versus blue length videos per week. I still want to do those kind of lengthy videos, and to most people might be saying, Arnold, you're doing too much work. There's no need to go through 1 hour, 2 hours of discussing a show that was 10 years old. You might think that, but I have my own personal standards for how I treat this show, for how I want to talk about it, for how I want to share it. There could be people that are watching RVB for the first time, and so I still feel like it's important to have a first-time perspective of speculating and talking about a show, regardless if majority of the world already has seen it. I have not seen it, so I always want to treat it as if it's a show that I'm watching up to date for the first time. And because of that, because I put a lot of work into recording and editing and editing in clips and stuff like that for context's sake, these videos take a lot of time to come out, and I don't want to push myself and force myself to reach an arbitrary goal when I can choose to move the goalpost when it's a lot easier for me to put videos out. So the one thing that I will say is Red versus Blue is back. I will always try to record, I will always record videos for Red versus Blue on a weekly basis, but in terms of uploading it, because I'm personally editing that content myself, it might not be uploaded in a weekly fashion, at most bi-weekly. Bi-weekly is like up to 2 weeks is when it comes out, but I will always try to get it out before that time, because I sat down to record the episode, and then after I recorded it, I rewatched it multiple times to write down my notes, like my rough draft notes. And then I went back in for a final draft of notes. And that took me a 2-3 hour process. And doing all of that at once. On top of now, I'm focusing on anime content. Ruby content is popping up again for Rooster Teeth and stuff that they're planning, on top of me getting back to Ruby videos. Red versus Blue just isn't the only thing I'm doing, but I can definitively say Red versus Blue is what I put the most time into for YouTube content. So I just want to be transparent. I just want to let you guys know, you guys will not be waiting a month for videos. You guys will not be waiting 3 weeks for videos. And if you guys are patrons on Patreon, I will upload it to Patreon as soon as it's ready to go. But at least on the YouTube front, because I have to make sure that everything is kind of good to go, on a weekly basis, or, because I want to make sure everything is perfect for the YouTube upload. If it's on Patreon, you guys can watch it, in whatever form and fashion that it's in. But for YouTube, it is going to take a little bit longer, hopefully no longer than a bi-weekly schedule upload for YouTube. And I hope that that's okay. I, at the very least, want you guys to have expectations, to know that I don't care if it takes a month for you to come out with an RVB video. I just would hope that when a month passes and I go to your channel, I can find the video there. And I just hope that that's okay. That's all I want to say. I really hope you guys enjoy the reaction. And for those of you who are extra excited to hear my thoughts, my theories, my speculations, and, everything else in between with these episode batches, I really hope you guys enjoyed the discussion, because there's a lot of great notes here. And yeah, it's great to be back for Red versus Blue. I hope you guys have enjoyed the reaction, the first batch. I hope you guys enjoyed this batch, and I hope you guys continue to enjoy them as they come out. But thank you guys all so much, and enjoy the rest of the video. Hey guys, what's up? MurderofBirds here. Welcome back to the channel. This is a long one. From the last video to this one, it has been a few months. And even when I recorded the first batch of reactions for RVB, that had not yet gone out to the public. So it's been a while since I've uploaded anything on the channel regarding Red versus Blue. I know a lot of people are probably going to be antsy, excited, overjoyed to finally get back to Red versus Blue content, and I, more than anything, am incredibly grateful for your guys' patience and allowance for me to be able to kind of focus on this show at my leisure. And I understand that there are those people who are always frustrated whenever I go on these long hiatuses. I'm not going to make excuses. I'm not going to apologize. The best thing that I know how to do moving forward is to just pick up where I left off, and at the very least try to do better than I have been. So at the very least, I hope you guys can understand that. Welcome back to the channel if you guys are avid viewers of my Red versus Blue content over the last few years. And if you are brand new to the channel, welcome. Hi, my name is Arnold, also known as MurderofBirds, and we are getting back into Red versus Blue Season 13. This is going to be the second batch of episodes. I believe this is going to be episodes 5, 6, and 7 for the final act, Act 3 of the Chorus trilogy. So I just recently rewatched the first 4 episodes because it's been a while since I last watched it, and I was just really hyped. I'm like, holy shit, I'm getting back to Red versus Blue. I'm going to be sitting down to record the next batch of episodes, and you know, personally, I know a lot of people think I'm crazy. I know a lot of people are probably saying to themselves, how can you do that, Arnold? How can you neglect something that you enjoy or you claim to enjoy so much? And it's just a very personal experience that I have with media. I don't like binging, so much so that I actually like taking long breaths of time between watching content because it marinates. It allows me to appreciate it more. And I feel like in a way it's kind of like a pseudo type of experience where most people get one season and then they're waiting an entire year for the next season. Obviously, I'm basically prohibiting myself from, I can basically binge everything. I don't have to put myself in that predicament, and I'm not saying that I want that artificial experience either. It's just something that I can't explain. It's something that I do with video games. It's something that I do with anime. It's something that I do with shows and series, and sometimes I don't do it. Like, I don't do it with Ruby. I make sure I'm up to date with Ruby, and that's a different relationship altogether. But the one thing that I can say is that I've never felt bad for taking a break with Red versus Blue, because I can honestly say that I've never gotten tired of the show. I've never gotten burnt out. My passion for the show has never wavered, and I've never not been looked for. I've never not looked forward. It's gonna be a little weird kind of way to say it, but I've never not looked forward to watching a bunch of episodes, and I feel like it's because of this way that I've gone about it. Now I know that way isn't the best way. It's not the best way for growth. It's not the best way to please an audience. It's not the best way for productivity or anything else like that, and that is ultimately something that I have to live with. And to be honest, it's something that I want to change and improve and get better on. And like I said, the best way that I can do that is moving forward from here. So again, I hope you guys just understand. I hope you guys are hyped. I hope you guys are happy and excited for me to get back to Red versus Blue, because I am stoked. I actually have to grab my notebook. Give me a second. Different notebook altogether. I can't find the one that I initially recorded. I think I actually did it on my tablet. But as you guys know, we're going to be going through watching the next batch of episodes for RVB, episodes 5, 6, and 7 of season 13, grabbing all the information that we can, and then we're going to have hopefully a pretty digestible discussion portion to have afterwards. At the time of me recording this right now, I think I'm going to upload my my review of season 12 on Patreon, and then I'm also going to upload episode 1 through 4 on Patreon early, and then eventually these will eventually come out on YouTube. So if you guys want early access for content, that is where you guys can find it. Most likely the next episode from this one will be posted accordingly. But yeah, so like I said, I rewatched episodes 1 through 4. So stoked to kind of see where this goes with the War of Chorus officially starting. The first episode focused on Locus and Felix apprehending this prisoner carrier ship that had all of these weapons and all of these criminals and stuff like that. They, Felix basically one-man armied all of it, and then Locust kind of showed up and cleaned up house. They got all of these new space pirates, all these new, criminals and mercenaries and stuff like that to aid in the battle against Planet Chorus under the leadership of Malcolm Hargrove. And they ended up getting Aiden Pierce, the former counselor of Project Freelancer, which was one of the things that I had been questioning this entire time of, like, we've gotten almost every single question asked of Project Freelancer's past. Where is the counselor? And it seems like he was imprisoned, he was put on this carrier, and then just kind of forgotten about. And he's going to have some relevancy to the fact that two of his best freelancers, Agent Carolina and Agent Washington, are still around, still in the picture. And in exchange for information, he is going to be able to help in kind of offering his freedom for information to bring them down, which is a little fucked up. I really hope he comes back around for that, but at the same time, I feel like he has his own agenda, his own method of going about business, and at the end of the day, it's to save his own skin, so you can't blame the guy. Another factor of that is fucking Sharkface. I had the craziest reaction to that shit when that reveal happened. Was not expecting him, of all people, to be alive, especially considering how he got, like, bodied by Washington and Carolina in the freaking, like, the skyscraper building that then got freaking main cannon fired on and the building collapsed demolition style. Was not expecting them to bring his ass literally back from the grave. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense considering one of those other guys who held the bomb, you know, who held the receiver for the main cannon, he made it out with just a robotic arm. I'm like, that guy should have been vaporized. So he's back in the picture. All of his squad was killed off by the freelancers back in the day, so I feel like he's gonna have a crazy amount of vengeance, a crazy amount of a vendetta essentially against Carolina and Washington. I think Carolina more specifically because she's more of the competitive type, and I feel like this is gonna drive a wedge between the Reds, the Blues, and the freelancers, depending on what they end up doing. Maybe even Epsilon gets involved, but I don't know how Sharkface is gonna be involved. I don't know if he's necessarily gonna be a character. Is he gonna talk? Is he gonna have his own form of dialogue? Is he gonna actually have interactions with the Reds and Blues, or is it just going to be, you know, it's on site? When I see you, we're going at it. Very excited for that as well. The Reds and Blues still kind of going through their bit of shenanigans. Things are changing around on the planet of Chorus. They're kind of taking back these rebel camps and these outposts, just kind of shoring up their numbers before they go to war with Malcolm and the space pirates and everything else like that. And meanwhile, with all of that happening, these like alien towers in the distance have some kind of unknown secrets. And it got to the point where Tucker and Emily Gray end up going on like a bit of a little expedition to kind of do some digging and some information. And Tucker's fucking sword from like season 3, Miles brought that shit back from the past and gave it relevancy, with it being a sword, but also being a key, being connected to the alien technology. And these, it seems like these locations that house alien weaponry, vehicles, and stuff like that. And ultimately the stuff that's been dormant on this planet for thousands of years that Charon has been seeking to kind of understand and tap into for their weaponry and for their manufacturing business and all of that. Tucker managed to awaken all of that because of the sword that he ended up getting from O'Malley's base all those years ago, that was tied to Crunchbite, that was tied to freaking Junior and all that other stuff. Like, and it's only tied to him because he's the one who grabbed it. So Tucker is seemingly going to have an even bigger role this point, because he already seems like he's the main character of the Chorus trilogy, right? He's going into that leadership position as he's always been doing for the last 3 seasons, under Felix and then under the Rebellion. And it seems like he's going to have an even bigger role now, almost being like the new Great Destroyer, right? Because he is, you know, the prophecy said that it was a blue individual that had the power to bring about great hope or great ruin or destruction or whatever the case might be. I don't know if that prophecy is prophesizing what's happening now, and I don't know if any other aliens are going to get involved at some given point, but very, very exciting nonetheless. That's how the episode left off. Obviously, everything else in between has been really great. Red and Blue banter has been awesome. Seeing how things are developing on the planet of Chorus in general has been great, and I'm just really excited to be back. I really do appreciate everybody again for the support, and I really hope that this video is well received for people, both who are watching it early access on Patreon and as well for the general YouTube audience. So thank you guys all so much for that. As you guys know, we do these long-winded intros. It's nothing new around these parts. It's you know, it's Murder of Birds, Murder of Rambles, all the same. So I hope you guys enjoy that as well. But without further ado, we are going to be getting into Red vs. Blue season 13 episodes 5 through 7. And without further ado, let us begin. All right, guys, so we're going to be jumping into Red vs. Blue season 13 episode 5, 6, and 7. So I hope you guys enjoy. As always, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. And we're going to be starting this in 3, 2, 1, now. Ooh. Who is this? Crash Site Alpha? Whoa, episode 5.
He's been calling himself Sharkface.
Sharkface!
What, is he a Batman villain?
His physical appearance, combined with a deep-seated sense of contrarianism, seems.
Oh my God! Shut up!
Oh my God!
Can we use him?
The
We
counselor?
continue our sessions. Absolutely.
Oh, the animation looks good.
Shark face, locust. Whatever happened to normal fucking names? I mean, am I crazy?
Well,
Don't.
Shark face, locust. I guess Felix is the only normal
what was
name.
that?
Ooh.
Locust, Felix, we've got a problem.
Nani?
Report. Our teleporters malfunctioned. They just detonated.
How many?
Uh-oh.
Well, all of them.
Holy shit. Wait, oh, they getting run up on? What is this?
Emily!
Whoa.
Slow down.
Slow down, General. The
Oh,
alien
okay,
weapons
okay. So
include
meanwhile,
all
back at the
artifacts we
okay,
found over
so
the years. They weren't
they're talking
broken,
about
they
all
were
the alien
just
tech
reactivated.
that just got
It absorbed
reactivated.
the work.
For all of 2 seconds.
How is that possible?
Tucker's sword.
And a key. What does that even mean?
That's a long story, lady.
Because I took a sword key from a tower, and then an alien took me on a quest. To
Yeah,
but in the end,
season
it all
3
kinda turned out
days.
to be an excuse to get me knocked up and have an alien.
Yeah.
Reproduced. Fuck yeah. Dude,
Yep.
it's awesome. Check him out in this 5th grade basketball team.
Oh my god.
They grow up so fast. Well,
Where the
Celestial
hell?
Lords
Hold on.
yeah.
Where the hell did they get that picture? Like, is that like a real picture that they just like photoshopped
It's
over?
awesome. Check him out in this 5th grade basketball team.
like what? Wait, are those the? Wait, I don't know if these are like actual people. That kind of looks like Carrie. I don't know if that's Carrie or not. I don't know if these are like photoshopped actual faces of real people. Anyways.
So fast. Well, that's the last thing I thought I'd see today.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. Who carries around actual photographs anymore? All
True.
right, focus.
Everything's on your
Go
phone
for
now.
what we know.
Well, whatever Tucker did caused all of our teleportation grenades to explode, fried Charon's weapons, and almost got me killed.
Oh.
Actually, this
is what
is
happened with
perfect.
Felix and them a result of that.
Been replaced with Griff. Instead of almost killed, he was...
Stop.
Alien weapons may have only been active for a few seconds.
Yeah.
But Karin's hybrid tech is still inoperable. Whatever pieces they took from the alien technology and crammed into their own likely short-circuited the equipment when it tried to come back online.
Means the space pirates.
That's right, they
got
were
fancy
hybrid
lasers
tech.
No more.
Yeah, but neither do we. That doesn't matter. Speak for yourself. That's 2 badass alien weapons I've lost now.
That's
always
true.
had the technological advantage over us. The only reason we've managed to win these past few weeks is because we have them outnumbered.
Ah.
Yet, we still lose troops with every victory.
True, but now we have them outnumbered and outgunned.
And outgunned.
Without their toys, they've got nothing more than standard
Good
UNSC
shit.
weaponry.
Wow.
It's an even playing field.
They actually kind of leveled it. Yeah,
I've
they
been
just
working
leveled it
with weapons
out.
a lot lately, so I'd just like to point out that the standard UNSC weaponry can still put a fucking hole in your skull.
That's true.
Encounter Locust or Felix since they left.
And
We'll deal
shark
with
face
them
now.
when the time comes. Right, Carolina?
Right.
Shit.
Of course.
What are you thinking, Kimmel?
Yes, we have been doing well these past few weeks, but we still can't make contact with the UNSC.
Donut!
And we have no idea how many more jammers Karin installed on Chorus. For all we know, they could have some on the moon.
Damn.
I'm not sure how much longer these small victories will be able to keep our heads above.
You gotta make a big play now.
Maybe it's time we aim higher.
Yep.
The tractor beams at Crash Site Alpha are the only things keeping us from leaving the planet.
You can't possibly be suggesting that
If we take them down, we can
Take them
send a ship
down.
to bring help.
The Mercs have to know that. Those towers are probably the most heavily defended targets on the planet.
That's where they are right now, actually.
Yes, precisely.
We lose people with every fight. You said so yourself. If we don't make a move now while they're weak, we're going to keep losing people until there is no one left.
Yeah, war of
hold on. What about
attrition
the
at this
map?
point.
After that big voice turned off the tower, it showed us that map and some coordinates.
Yeah, why did it
That's
turn
right.
off?
Could be buried
Is it because he said,
Or
what's
a
up?
stockpile of alien weapons that melt your face off or turn you to stone.
Yeah, there might be different, like,
Stone
weapons
to the
caches at these
people.
other
They have a
locations.
point. Taking Crash Site Alpha is possible, but not without heavy losses.
Yeah.
Those coordinates could lead us to something that might save lives.
Weapons,
Could.
vehicles.
One tower took out all of Charon's weapons. There's no telling what another one could do.
That
I mean,
too.
hell, if
Damn,
we
man,
turn
it's a
the other
gamble.
tower back on, we can add badass alien lasers to the armory. Why else are we in this war?
And I get to add another weapon category to the armory spreadsheet.
Oh,
Nerd.
God.
Organizing data's not nerdy, it's efficient. Come on, turn to the computer. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that nerd doesn't speak for me.
Damn.
That reminds me, if we're here...
God, I
who's
miss
running the
everybody.
armory?
Griff, Simmons.
The sign says open, but
Oh.
no one's here.
Damn. Donut just left his post like that?
I'll give it 2 more hours.
2 more
We
hours?
don't have time to investigate.
My
For all
God.
we know, Karin's already working on a new batch of rifle replacements.
We don't have time.
I mean, they're working
Just
on
fly right over and
people
check it out.
replacements.
We already
They got
know
a
Locust
bunch
and
of
Felix have scouts monitoring our
prisoners.
activity whenever possible. If we send a ship out to the middle of nowhere, they'll notice, and they'll follow.
If those coordinates do lead to something, we can't afford it falling into Karan's
I hope it doesn't fuck you guys over.
On foot. And that will take time that we don't have.
Man.
What if Karan's already there? What if they've been sitting on this shit for years, and we just turned it on? We gotta find out what's out there, even if it's just to make sure the mercs don't use it against us.
True. Gotta make a play. What are you gonna do?
Is it possible to divide and conquer?
Yeah, Carolina
Possible.
could take an away team out to the coordinates, and Kimball could lead the charge against Alpha.
Why does Kimball get to lead the charge?
Because you're a
volunteering?
secretary.
Well, unfortunately, we'll need someone to stay behind and guard the capital, and I know the city better than anyone.
There you go.
Then it sounds like Kimball's our leader.
There you go. That's why she's the leader,
The will of their
Doyle.
lives are on the line. I've been training them. Both sides have come a long way. And
Ooh, are we gonna get the privates?
Well, then you can count me and my boys in.
Oh my gosh, man. We're gonna get all of them.
Armory, actually.
Yeah, really sorry, guys. Yeah, wish we could help.
Well,
Well, if you really want to...
Palomo, Bitters,
then I can
Anders
handle the
Smith,
armory.
and
Excellent
Jensen.
suggestion, Donut. Simmons, looks like you're gonna get to see your fearless colonel on the battlefield after all.
He's a colonel.
I wish I could look through your eyes and see me. Yay.
Damn.
kill you in your sleep.
Right. Then the rest of us can act as the away team. Tucker brings a sword. Gray brings the brains.
Oh.
I bring the comic relief.
I was gonna say the rifle with auto-targeting software.
Oh yeah. They got what's his name's in there
We'll
too.
hop on the next Pelican to Harmonia and prep to head out.
Freckles.
If we play this right, the mercs won't even know what hit them.
Hopefully. I mean, they got some extra.
We had the scientists check everything. Binary rifles, suppressors.
Ooh.
They're
Did
all
they-
dead. Even the ones on the ship.
Oh shit.
Send them up here. We have another job for them.
You got it, boss.
Oh damn.
We just received a communications request from Control. What should I tell them?
Tell them we'll call right.
No way! Them too! Dude, it literally gave a ping to like all of those tower locations. So they're gonna literally meet up with the dude. That is not good. They're gonna actually face
All
off
right, men,
against
let's
the
get
mercs.
this hog lined up with the others.
Fuck.
Have you filled out the vehicle
And it's with
request form?
Carolina
What are you talking
too.
about?
The Federal Army follows a very strict regiment when it comes to requesting weapons and vehicles.
Well, this isn't the Federal Army.
Tell me about it.
Damn.
Little.
You two. Why isn't this Warthog over with the rest of the vehicles?
Oh, Agent Washington!
We will get right on
Oh,
this,
what
sir.
the hell?
Good.
Damn, that's straight
Now, Is there
disrespectful.
anything you feel like you should say to General Kimball?
Sorry.
Bitch.
Remind me to put those two on the front line.
Don't you start too. I told you they won't listen.
God.
They're just
Those
a
guys
bunch
are
of mindless drones that
savage.
do whatever Doyle tells them to do.
You're the
Jesus.
leader of the cave-dwelling savages that blow things up to get what they want.
Yep.
You know that's not true.
Well, you haven't done anything to prove them wrong yet, have you?
Agent Washington, I'd appreciate it if you didn't lecture me on how to make friends with the enemy.
enemy?
They're not the enemy anymore.
You know
Come
what
on,
I mean.
Kimball.
We're all on the same
You gotta
side.
unlearn that.
Have some faith. If you start believing in them, maybe they'll start believing in you.
Yeah, maybe.
Excuse me.
Oh, hey, Barbara!
Tell me that wasn't Jensen.
Yep, that was Jensen.
God damn it!
Sorry.
Oh, Jensen, I love you.
How? How is that possible? We were going like 5 miles an hour.
I'm sorry, sir. Bad luck, I
Jesus.
guess.
Yeah, just so you know, I'm fine.
Oh my God,
Where we park the
guys!
cars?
Jesus Christ, Bitters, you're a terrible. I mean, maybe he was
Epsilon.
trying to do that.
Hey, church.
Oh my
I
God.
said, is this where we're parking?
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
this is it.
Sweet, we're here.
Oh
just
fuck,
pit
dude,
stop.
be on
Need to
your
refuel the
guard,
Jeep so we have some
man.
cover. There should be some gas cans in the back.
You told me those were lemonade cans.
What?
Caboose,
When? The
Tucker,
first week we met?
Carolina, and
Oh. Caboose.
Gray.
Drinking made first buds was pretty rough, but you know, I didn't want you guys to think you made bad lemonade.
Well, that explains the fuck out of your birthday candles.
I
Damn.
wished I was a dragon. That was the best birthday ever.
Hey, Epsilon.
What's up, C?
Want to run some more?
See?
equipment
Oh
training?
my God, I love
Might as
them,
well
brother
while
and
we stop.
sister.
It's good knowing the bubble shield works, but I still feel like my deployment.
The
time would be
bubble
better.
shield.
Carolina, you're fine. Just relax, all right?
But
Hey, Carolina, come on. You know
Wow.
how you used to be, okay? You start pushing yourself too far, you're gonna get hurt. And the last thing we need right now is another stupid injury. So come on, take it easy. Loosen up.
That's the last thing you need to do right now.
Hey, are you doing okay? Okay, we're ready to go. Oh, Badass. Cool. Did you fill up our car too?
Yeah, I gave it to both of them.
Bow chicka. Bow.
Bow chicka
What?
bow wow?
That's the joke, right?
Did she just say my thing?
Damn, she took your thunder.
That hey chicka bump bump.
Hey, chicka bump bump. Yeah, that's
You said to
Caboose's
loosen
version.
up.
It's a little too loose. Just tighten that back up a little bit.
I feel violated.
Oh, man.
I can't stand this prick.
Your
Fuck!
employer,
Still a prick.
Felix.
Whatever. Let's just get this over with.
I mean, you're the...
Control, this is
Ooh!
Chorus transmitting on a secure feed.
Woo! Staff of Charon!
Lucas and Felix, I was beginning to wonder if you were purposefully neglecting
Was that
my
Texas armor?
transmissions.
What,
Like her
you?
helmet?
Chairman, please. Never in a million
Whoa,
years.
it's
We're
fully animated.
just kind of in the middle of something.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Felix. I know exactly how frustrating
Oh
it is to
my
be interrupted. Just this morning I met with a client who was very interested in our new suppressor submachine gun until the bloody thing blew up in his hands.
Damn.
You know, we
The
are
alien.
so sorry to
Yeah.
hear that, sir. But it kind of sounds like you should take it up with your science team.
Oh, I did. In fact, I
Shit.
spoke with a member stationed with you on Chorus. They seem to believe that the colonists and their heroes are
Activated a
responsible for the
tower.
incident.
And it's
Last I checked,
Felix's fault that
You
they're still
are
alive.
responsible for them.
Exactly.
Taking care of the situation.
Are you? When I hired you, I was promised perfection. I was told that you were the best. Everything we had on your backgrounds and previous missions told me you were the right choice.
Felix is fucking it
Sir.
up.
Is it lack of resources? Are the ships I've redirected to your front door not helpful? What about the armor enhancements? Stopping bullets in their tracks, vanishing into thin air. Are these gifts not good enough for you?
It's complicated.
Jesus.
No, it isn't.
He's
In
serious.
fact, it's remarkably simple. Everything I've built, everything I've worked towards, rests upon a strong foundation.
Oh, all those,
Intricate web of partners, politicians, and clients,
all those articles?
each supporting one another. And right now,
Pineapple unlocks
your
new
thread
phone.
is straining to support the rest.
Yeah, you guys are dead weight.
I think I know what the problem is. I think it's your motivation. Clearly, your monetary compensation isn't enough. So,
What the fuck?
I'd like to try something different.
Oh, whoa. Hold on. I just saw a Ruby reference. Hold on. Wait, let's go back. Holy shit, I caught that in real time. Juniper.
Clearly,
Right
your
there, on the
monetary
top.
compensation
JNPR. John Nora Pira
isn't
Ren.
enough.
That's a Ruby reference.
So,
wow.
I'd like to try something.
Juniper 4, like 4 teammates.
Yes, Chairman.
Phyllis!
Do you have any idea what this is?
The power of Freelancer agent.
Maine!
The meta.
Not anymore. This is the future of modern warfare.
What?
Active camouflage, enhanced strength, light shields. Dr. Church paired each of his freelancers
Dr.
with
Church!
specialized equipment, but with our modifications.
Holy...
This suit contains all of them.
I thought that
What?
was impossible.
Everything
Not
in
initially.
the meta suit?
The armor enhancements had to be removed and studied in secret so that we could create the modified versions you both carry now. The variations reduced power consumption significantly.
You don't even need
solving a
do you not
large
need an
portion of
AI
the
for it? You just need to get in?
Still not ready.
No, not yet. Individually, our new equipment can be activated without AI assistance.
Wow!
Tests have
That's
shown
insane!
that running multiple enhancements proves to be far more taxing on the mind than we anticipated.
Oh my god.
You want us to capture the Epsilon AI?
Recovering Freelancer equipment
He knows
is
that it's
always
still
a
there.
priority, Felix, but the Epsilon unit is far too old to run this suit properly.
Whoa.
I'm doing my best to secure an AI through legitimate means.
And another AI?
Even with my political influence, the acts of the late Dr. Church have made AI acquisition an extremely difficult process. But it's only a matter of time. Which brings
What
me
the
back to my
fuck, dude? That brings back so many memories, the
two
meta.
of you can successfully complete your mission before this suit is ready. Charon Industries is willing to lend you the completed model.
No
for
fucking
your
way!
own use. use as a form of
They'd be unstoppable.
field testing.
Oh, become a one-man walking weapon? I don't like the sound of that.
However, if you fail to eliminate the remaining stragglers,
They're gonna use that on you.
then we will find another candidate to test the suit.
Oh my
And their
god.
first task will be finishing what you started.
Oh my god.
As well as tying up
Jeez.
any loose ends. Do I make myself
Oh
clear?
my god.
Good.
What'd I tell you?
Holy fuck.
Hey.
He just turned, he just like upped the ante. He's like, hey, either you do the task and you get this little power weapon, or we're gonna give this power weapon to somebody else. They're gonna do your task and they're gonna take care of you. I cannot believe that. He enhanced the meta's armor to the point where it's an all-in-one, like, Project Freelancer futuristic AI, like, armor enhancement super fucking armor weapon.
Modern warfare.
I cannot believe.
Active
You hear the
camouflage,
music too?
Enhanced strength, light shields. Dr. Church paired each of his freelancers with specialized equipment.
Oh my
with our
god.
modifications. This suit contains
all of them.
I thought that...
Camouflage, bubble shield, super strength, motion tracking, healing system. There's so much shit that has.
I thought that wasn't possible.
Not initially.
I thought so too.
The armor enhancements had to be removed and studied in secret so that we could create the modified versions you both carry now.
Oh, so what happened was they took all of the individual... Wow, that's why he had Washington go back and get all of the old AI and equipment from the dead freelancers, I think. We're 12 seasons in now. Like, we're about to start season 12. We never got closure on Karan Industries. We never got closure on, like, what Malcolm Hargrove's been up to since the closure of Project Freelancer. And those were two major plot-focused things that happened during Project Freelancer that we still haven't gotten answers to. And I feel like that is probably the most overlooked thing that will eventually come back and be some type of plot twist as season 12 or 13 carry on. But what really caught me when I rewatched this was the moment where Washington asks Felix about Locus's armor.
How was he able to cloak himself? Locus, he turned invisible. How?
The Federal Army's got all sorts of fancy stuff. I got my light shield off a dead soldier.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
It's just that I've never seen that kind of equipment outside of Project Freelancer.
Welcome to the future, Wash. Technology's incredible, and everyone uses it to kill each other.
Does that mean your guys have the same equipment?
I wish. The New Republic's barely getting by with what they can. You wouldn't happen to have any high-tech armor aboard that wreck, would you?
Plenty of armor, just nothing out of the ordinary.
So during my reaction, I was popping off because I was like, wait a minute. Armor abilities? You need an AI to run an armor ability. Holy shit, maybe AI are coming back. But then I stopped and I rewatched that. Like when I rewatched season 11, I watched that scene and I had like this fucking Jimmy Neutron brain blast moment. So I'm gonna ask a question and I'm gonna answer that question because clearly you guys can't answer it for me. Does more than one armor of the same armor ability exist in the world? Now the question that I have is that those armor abilities were given to Project Freelancer by the UNSC, right? Who oversees the transfer of military grade technology, armor and AI and all that stuff? Malcolm Hargrove, right? Well, before he was the assistant to the Oversight Subcommittee chairperson back then, but now he's the Oversight Subcommittee chairperson. But because the UNSC is no longer a part of Chorus, like they don't have jurisdiction, they're not there anymore, how are the Federalists still have that technology? Unless my theory is that Malcolm Hargrove is also a part of Charon. He's like playing that double agent. He would be the one that would be able to give the Federalists this super secret high-tech armor. And another thing, the reason why I asked about the armor, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I'm just popping off because this is all the shit that I've been thinking of. Another thing is the reason I asked if there's more than one armor ability is because the only character that we've ever seen in this show who has had invisibility as an armor ability was Texas. slash the Meta when he stole it from her. The Meta died in season 8, right? Now, when Washington was going, he was Recovery 1, right? So when Washington was going around getting all of the, you know, trying to secure all of the AI and the, you know, cover up the mess of the freelancers, wasn't he there to recover their AI and or their armor abilities and return it to the UNSC, right? Wasn't that like his core objective to like recover all of this tech? So, for example, right, in season 8, when the Meta got like launched off of the cliff and fell into the water and drowned probably, the UNSC showed up afterwards, and that was when Washington faked his death. I wonder if they recovered the Meta's body, got all of the armor abilities back, and now the invisibility cloak that Locus is using was the invisibility that Tex previously had. Like, I wonder if that invisibility is the exact same one, but it was recovered by the UNSC, Malcolm Hargrove, but because he's theory right now, Malcolm Hargrove is also Charon Industries, and Charon Industries is controlling Chorus right now, like they're a part of the Federalists. I wonder if Malcolm now gave the armor ability to Locus to help him better win the war or better win for, you know, the Federalist side of things as a mercenary for hire. And that's the theory. But I don't think we've ever seen someone else with the same armor ability as someone from Project Freelancer is what I'm getting at. And so because he has invisibility, I was like, wait, is that the same one? The only way they would have gotten it is if they got it off of the Meta, which the UNSC were there at the time when, during the aftermath, when Wash like faked his death, and they were like, oh, throw that capture unit into storage, we don't need it anymore. And then the new, you know, season 9 started. So I wonder, that's my big super 200 IQ galaxy brain play, like, theory for season 12. I really don't know other than that. So he can study how to make them self-sufficient without an AI. And then when they found a way to do it, they gave those to the space pirates and to like Felix and Locust. That's why they have armor abilities without AI usage. And now that they're pretty much on the brink of like this big groundbreaking, you know, revelation with weapon manufacturing, now they have all of this can be used on one individual, which is crazy. I love how this whole episode, or this part of episode 6, we saw him in the finale of the last batch of like the finale of season 12, but it's just great to actually hear him, see the animation, see the quality that they've done for setting up like his ship and his environment and all that, and just seeing how he goes about things, because he's only been like a looming voice in our heads for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 seasons at this point.
And significantly, solving a large portion of the puzzle.
Wow.
That's still not ready.
No.
Not yet.
Individually, our new equipment can be activated without AI assistance.
Okay.
But tests have shown that running multiple enhancements proves to be far more taxing on the mind than we anticipated.
So what? You want us to capture the Epsilon
Oh
AI?
my god.
Recovering Flon unit is far too old to run this suit properly.
Holy fuck.
I'm doing my best to secure an AI through legitimate means.
Legitimate means.
Even
okay.
with my political influence, the acts of the late Dr. Church have made AI acquisition.
Sorry for constantly pausing. I just need to give like commentary on this because it's a lot to take in, and I don't want to kind of bloat the end of the episode. But so he's gonna try to get one through normal means then. Okay, so I misinterpreted that. Yeah, because like I guess AI creation was always allowed, but Church took it a step further by splicing the AI through torture to create fragments, to create more opportunities for experimentation. And that's where like the doctrines came into play, you know, the whole back and forth between Malcolm and Leonard got to the point where now it's kind of law at this point. And it's incredibly hard because Leonard Church just made it harder to trust anybody because of the potential that you can take it. So I guess at the very least, he would want to create an AI based on himself, and he would then use that AI to man this armor. And for what it's worth, I think that's the best case scenario, because Leonard, like Epsilon or the Alpha, was kind of like viable, and it was self-sustaining and all that stuff. So I think that could definitely be a possibility.
An extremely difficult process.
Yeah.
but it's only a matter of time.
Fuck, dude. That's so fucked
brings
up, man.
me back to my
I can't help but think about Maine throughout all of this.
The two of you
they really
can
brought his armor back.
Complete your mission before this suit is ready. Caron Industries is willing to lend you a completed model for your own use.
Wow.
As a form of field testing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, become a one.
Do not want Felix to have that. He does not need that. He's already crazy as it is.
If you fail to eliminate the remaining stragglers,
your ass is grass,
then
my
we will
dude.
Find another candidate to test the suit.
It's so cool seeing him too.
First task
it's really great animated.
Will be finishing what you started.
Mm-hmm.
As well as tying up any loose ends.
You're fucked at that point.
Do I make myself clear?
Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Don't fuck this up, Felix. Third time's the charm.
What'd I tell you? Looking.
You're 2 for 2! Both times
Hey.
you guys fucked up was because of Felix.
Let's go find out what that map led us to.
Jesus.
Right.
Locus. Watch your mans, dude. Catch your mans, dude. He's acting up. Jungle Temple. Oh. All right. No shark face yet. Wonder what shark face is up to, actually. All right. I think this is the last episode of the batch. Wow. Very, very exciting stuff, man. I cannot believe it.
This is...
Oh, it's still them. It's still
Where do I even
the
begin?
mercenaries.
Well, you could start with what it is. A central hub. Some sort of device connected to the rest of the temples on the planet.
Okay.
That's our best guess, at least. But this energy source at the center is something else.
Scary?
Can't be weaponized. No. The energy here is reminiscent of the teleportation devices we
Oh, is it going to send you to that location?
It's a gateway.
To where?
Interesting.
Well, that is the question of the day now.
Push him through it.
So, anyone care to take the first step?
Yeah, he's like, yo, you're going to go first,
advise
buddy.
that. We've been doing our best to decipher the text inscribed on the temple walls. It's all very biblical in tone, lots of symbolism, but it does seem this gateway has some, well, rules.
Rules.
The text is very specific. Only a true warrior may enter, a being of great strength and mental clarity.
And what would happen to a man who failed to meet these requirements?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Oh, you fucking asshole. I knew someone.
Guess we'll find out.
Knew he was gonna fucking do that. I
Are
knew
you
it.
finished?
Oh!
Almost.
He talks! He talks!
But you can't.
Dude, his armor looks sick!
Counselor.
You find working with tools to be therapeutic,
Therapeutic.
relaxing. Does it help to calm?
I know what therapeutic means.
Oh.
And no, not really.
Oh my god, dude, this is Pillman's boy!
Let's change the subject. I trust you've reviewed the reports on Agents Washington and Carolina.
Yep.
Damn, Aiden, you
Excellent.
fucked up, man.
Did you have any questions?
Nope.
No.
He's got it all figured out.
Good. Then why don't we go over the mission briefing again?
The Mercs want the Freelancers dead, so they got me to do it. Briefing over.
There's no need for
Jeez.
hostility.
I beg to differ. See, those super soldier freaks dropped a building on me.
Killed all
They
your
left
friends.
me for dead. And then they killed my friends. They took away the only family I ever had. While I was in physical fucking therapy, there is plenty of need for hostility here, Counselor.
Then perhaps you should do your best to channel that energy.
Oh, don't patronize him. Let him do his thing.
You know, I do have a question.
Oh, fuck.
How did you end up on a ship full of killers?
Ah!
You don't look like a criminal.
He made killers. That's what he
not-
did.
Get off topic.
I
Yeah.
wanna know.
He made
I
those.
believed in the wrong people.
Oh my god.
By the time I realized it,
He fucking crafted those killers that went on to kill his friends. Imagine the fucking irony of that. And also, he's saying that he trusted the wrong people. I mean, I guess he's still kind of like fucked up, and he's like, I don't know, man. He's like, I trusted the wrong people when I realized that it was too late. Like, come on, bruh. That's cap and a half, dude. I don't know if I necessarily believe him. Cause like, he still kind of went through with all that other stuff. He saw how the Alpha was created. He saw how the Alpha was spliced and all of the crazy shit that was happening with the freelancers and how the mental fatigue and struggle that was going through. But maybe he felt trapped too, because at the end of the day, it was just like he was only following orders. But I don't know. I'm still a little iffy on whether or not I trust the counselor's judgment and if I feel like he's being genuine here. Because even then, like, turning around and saying, hey, you're going to help me take care of Washington and Carolina when they seem to be just as much victims as he was, doesn't seem like the right call here, at least not to me. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about that comment in particular, because I feel like that is something that, I don't know, I just, like, everyone obviously went through their own grief, their own, their own pain, their own hurt. You know, this guy lost his friends. He was in physical therapy for God knows how long, and he ended up being imprisoned, and now he has a thirst for vengeance, and those same people that he's after were people that he helped train under the director, who was kind of fucking over everybody for the sake of bringing his wife back, which, yes, it's tragic. Yes, you can empathize with it, but at the same time, two wrongs don't make a right, and so I don't know. I just feel very conflicted about where maybe I have to wait and see what happens with the counselor, what he truly ends up deciding for himself by the end of it, how he goes out, or what happens to him in the end. But I don't know. I'm very sus of the counselor right now.
The damage was already done.
And what would you do if those people were here now? Would you kill him?
Damn, he's already dead.
If it meant getting my life back, I would.
In a way, he still can. He has to do that with the freelancers.
I guess you belong here after all.
That armor looks kind of... I mean, I missed the little shark face aesthetic, but...
Oh, God.
He's probably going to do that with his gun.
I'm back. Guess I owe you $50.
And I think customization in this game is different than Halo 3.
Terrible things. People I killed.
What?
Man, if we gotta meet every person we've wronged or some bullshit, this is gonna take forever.
Quiet.
Seriously, dude, I'm talking weeks.
Oh my, yeah, you've wronged a lot of people.
His vitals are perfectly normal.
What did he see?
Then I'm going in.
Oh.
What, now?
We're already low on time.
Yeah. Hey, he came back alive, so at the very least, if you can brace through it.
I know what this is about. Why do you know I'm not the true warrior?
Because you're you.
Yeah, and being me is awesome.
Yeah, but he's a soldier.
Alright. Look, why don't we both go in and let the giant alien thing decide?
Why are you trying to make everything a competition,
Just
Felix? Fuck off.
I won't. Lose. I won't lose.
Too late. Fucked it up.
Damn. Let's see. What is this?
Commit.
Oh shit. Whoa! What the fuck? Are they on the moon? Oh, your armor enhancement doesn't work here, buddy. No cloak for you. What is this?
Felix, I've made it through the gateway. Equipment is malfunctioning. If you can hear this.
What? Please tell me you don't understand.
I don't understand.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, if he understands, that's bullshit. Who are you?
Freeze!
What?
Don't move! Don't you fucking move! Lower your weapon!
Who the fuck are these people?
Put the weapon down!
Hello?
What do we have here, men?
Caught us a monster, Captain.
What the hell? These fucking freaking Martians?
Really? Then how about you tell us what you're doing here?
I came through the gateway.
Speak English, motherfucker!
What?
English?
Wait. I know you.
Why is it looking at me?
Maybe you're just its type.
What is happening?
Felix.
I say we blow its brains
Whoa,
out.
wait, what the fuck? Is this a past moment?
Impossible.
Hey!
Wait, that's him!
Wait a minute, give me some answers. Are you alone?
I don't understand. You're all supposed to be dead.
What's it say?
What the fuck?
Me.
Sir, I think it's trying to surrender.
Bullshit, I think it's stalling. Sir, this feels like a trap.
Why don't you recognize me?
Private, I did not ask you for your opinion.
Listen.
Private.
Hey, it's getting hostile. Sir, this thing's wasting our time, and we're in no position to start taking prisoners.
Damn, he's always been bloodthirsty, dude.
Go into one of these buildings and take it out. Quietly.
What?
Sir, it's scared. If it's smart.
Oh, see, he's more compassionate.
Son, you listen here.
No.
You are a soldier. In this war, you are nothing but a suit of armor and a gun.
Oh!
When I give you an order, you damn well follow it. Do I make myself clear?
Oh my god.
Locus. It's about goddamn... Hey!
What did you see?
Calm down, asshole. You're fine. It was an illusion. You know, a trick.
What did you see?
Well, if you must know, I didn't see a thing. I passed the test. Turns out I'm a true warrior.
No.
Kidding.
Oh my god, this is incredible. We're getting Locus development now. That's the origin of his whole fucking soldier shtick. Locus was the one that was more compassionate, whereas Felix was like, yo, well, let's kill this thing. We don't have time. And he was like, oh no, he's scared. We can help it. And he's like, you follow orders. You're a soldier. You're a suit of armor. You're meant to kill. That's kind of like a fucking origin point for where he went wrong. I think he passed and Felix failed. It's like, oh, you're stuck in your ways. There's no hope for you, but maybe there's hope for Locus.
Do you think this is a joke?
No. But intel says we're out of time, so you can bitch about this later. Right now, we need to move to plan B.
Holy fuck, that's incredible!
Pack it up. Leave no trace. We were here. I mean it. If I catch one thing left behind, someone's getting thrown out of the Pelican. Hey.
Oh my god.
Get it together. True warrior.
Don't be fucking condescending, dude. You're gonna regret that. There's the armor. There's the camo's working.
Holy shit.
Ah!
I think it's safe to say we're here.
Oh my god! And then time passed. They cleared out, and then they showed up. They're too late, though. Holy shit, what a great batch of episodes, dude. That was awesome. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the discussion portion for Red vs. Blue Season 13, episodes 5, 6, and 7, titled No Fighting in the War Room, Along Came a Spider, and Locus of Control. Actually, going into these episodes, I didn't know the episode titles. I actually found out about them after I watched the episode, so that's actually really interesting. We got the Fabled notebook. I have a dedicated notebook for Season 13 and beyond. This is a black notebook because the red one that I used for the last discussion was actually my Genshin Impact book. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of notes, and I will be honest in saying this, I think this is going to be a pretty lengthy video. The reaction portion for what I just kind of recorded was about 40 minutes or so, roughly, and I can already see myself putting in a lot of clips, a lot of effort into editing to kind of give you guys context and my thought process of things, as well as harkening back to old things that I mentioned in my previous discussions that reinforced a lot of the theories that ended up coming true that I realized in this batch in particular. So I'm really excited to be back. I'm really excited to talk about this batch in particular, because at the very top here, I literally put here, thank you, Georgia. If any of you guys leave a comment on this video for any of your thoughts, if you guys get to this point and you guys listen to my discussion and you've made it this far into the video after the reaction, first off, I really appreciate you, because this is kind of like the extra effort that I go to for people who actually really like Red vs. Blue, to the point of hearing someone's thought process on it and getting kind of all the details. And I know most of you guys listen to this in like a podcast style, or whether you guys are playing games or doing homework or background music, or background noise, I should say. So first off, I really appreciate it. This is kind of like the extra effort that I go to for you guys and other people who manage to discover me, who enjoy Red vs. Blue as much as y'all, as much as I do. If you guys are watching up to this point, somewhere in your comment, can you please comment, thank you, Georgia? Georgia has given me this list, and she gave it to me ages ago when I originally was interested in checking out Red vs. Blue, so she probably might have forgotten the order in which the videos that she kind of chronicled me to check out and in what order. But this batch of episodes has been my favorite batch in a really long time. Like, this is definitely my favorite batch compared to the first episode batch of Season 13. And looking at this batch and how it was structured for episodes 5, 6, and 7, it was a very villain-oriented batch. right? The first episode had a bit of Felix, Locus, and the Counselor. Episode 6 was all about Malcolm Hargrove and the mercenaries. And then episode 7 was still mercenary focused, but really kind of setting up what is potentially going to be character development for Locus. And I have a big portion of that we're going to talk about when we get to episode 7, because Locus's development is something that I'm incredibly excited about. I already feel like I kind of know where they're going for with it, and I'm just very excited to see how that all develops. But I just loved how she set up a lot of the, like, how she structured these episodes to not be too long, but not too short, but the themes of each video has kind of like a flow to them. And I just love how this flow kind of worked in, hey, this is only going to be 3 episodes, but it's going to be pretty lengthy, and it's just going to focus on what the villains are up to, with a little bit of red versus blue, you know, reds and blues mixed in between. So I really appreciated that. Georgia, if you are watching, thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate it. So we're going to jump into episode 5, No Fighting in the War Room. The episode starts off, and I was initially confused by why all of their tech ended up going offline, right? The mercenaries tech, which we've known is integrated to be kind of like a hybrid between UNSC military tech and the alien technology that they've been harvesting on the planet and incorporating into their machine lineup and stuff like that. And the reason why that connection was lost on me was because I don't really like. I recorded episode 1 through 4 months ago before, you know, you guys will probably notice mainly from like my hair. Like my hair is very different from episode 1 through 4 to where it is now, where I'm actively watching and reacting and recording content for RVB consistently. So even though I rewatched the last couple of episodes, it wasn't until it was reinforced by the Reds and Blues what exactly had happened that I was like, oh, that's why, you know, all of their teleporter cubes all blew up. Like basically anything that harbored alien tech was pretty much fried. And so all the alien tech that the Reds and Blues had were already kind of dead regardless, but then they activated for a little bit and then they deactivated. Whereas everything that was activated by the space pirates and by the you know, the mercenaries of Charon, because it was integrated with their actual like standardized military equipment, all of that shit is fried. And I think that was a good way for Miles to at the very least incorporate a way that the Reds and Blues can stand a fighting chance, right? Because I remember going back to fucking season 12, like enemies, like people were getting like vaporized from these freaking military, like from these alien technology, like these alien weaponry and stuff. And I was just like, thinking about it now, I'm like, how the fuck can you ever fight that? But now I really like how they leveled the playing field by at the very least explaining in a contextual way that made sense. It didn't seem forced or anything, that the alien tech being awakened and then going offline fried all of that technology for the villains. So I was really happy about that. Another thing at the beginning of the episode with Felix in particular is Miles was like born to play the villain role. You know, I know that I know there's like David from Camp. I know that there's Jean from Ruby. And, you know, this might be a little bit of a pun, but I've always kind of felt like a little, like, I don't know. I'm not necessarily like crazy about the, you know, the Boy Scout kind of characters, like the guy characters that are wholesome and benevolent and can't do any wrong. Like, sure, I like those every now and then. And like, that's kind of like who Miles is overall. He's a really awesome dude. But like, I just love that he's a fucking scumbag piece of shit villain. And he like wears that role so well. And there were some delivery lines by Felix in this episode that I fucking loved the delivery on. Like mentioning how Sharkface and Locust are just stupid fucking names. Like, what happened to fucking normal names, you know?
Sharkface, Locust, whatever happened to normal fucking names? I mean, am I crazy?
Well,
don't psychoanalyze me.
And the whole psychoanalyze thing is kind of like, okay, well, at least he's aware of how crazy he is. And, you know, that whole bit kind of worked that way. So, yeah, I just, like, I rewound it. Like, so when I was rewatching the episode, I rewound that part maybe like 5 or 6 times when he's like, whatever happened to normal fucking names? And I was just thinking of, like, I'm trying to envision Miles just saying that. And I'm like, Miles, I feel like, now I don't want to go that far to be like, Miles, would you actually make a really crazy, like, psychopathic, like, murderer mercenary IRL? But it's like, he so real. Like, he fits the character so well, and his performance just makes the character feel so alive. Whereas Jean in season 1 of Ruby was like overly awkward, and it was almost kind of like they were like playing it up a little too much, that he's, you know, socially awkward and not that confident, and, you know, gets bullied a lot, you know, pretty much playing like the typical, you know, that typical role of a character, you know, who goes through like that metamorphosis over time. God, I can't get over how good Miles performs as him. Performs as Felix. It's so good. So moving into the episode further, you know, shout out to Miles if he ends up watching this, because after I finish this season, I'm definitely gonna reach out to him, at least on Twitter. I'm gonna be like, hey, I finally finished the work that you did on Korra's trilogy. It's fucking amazing. I still have no idea where it's going right now. Like, we still have a considerable amount of time before we get there, but 11 and 12 and what I've seen so far of episode 13, I already know this is going to be like phenomenal, like hands down one of the greatest fictional storytelling experiences that I've ever gotten invested in, and something that it's crazy to think that like RVB was already good, but Miles took the legacy of Bernie and took it to a completely different level that pretty much is almost kind of considered to be the pinnacle of Red versus Blue, which is absolutely incredible. And I love that that is the legacy that Miles left behind, at the very least for Red versus Blue. And, you know, we'll see where that is with Ruby as time goes on, because, you know, he's been with Ruby forever. So it's a very different understanding in terms of like how he came aboard on writing for Red versus Blue, because that wasn't something that he pioneered. But the fact that he left a significant mark on the story, on the characters, and bringing back so many of these things that Bernie had kind of placed into the story was incredible, absolutely phenomenal, and he should be proud of it, and I really hope he is. Moving forward from there, the Reds and Blues are hatching a plan. The enemies are nerfed. Carolina and Tucker are deciding to go to the alien ping location on the map to see if they can find new technology or anything like that, because they pretty much had everything at their disposal, right? All of the alien weaponry and the machines and stuff like that, like the vehicles. And then I don't know for what reason, like Tucker saying what's up, and the god was the alien deity or whatever was just like, yeah, fuck this shit, I'm out. So like, I don't know if they're gonna try to communicate with it again, if they're gonna get anything out of it necessarily moving forward, but Tucker and Carolina are going to do that, as we eventually see, and Kimball and you know, the rest of the soldiers are going to be moving towards Crash Site Alpha to try to get control of the technology that's preventing them from leaving the planet. So they're kind of doing a divide and conquer, as Doyle said, and hopefully that works out great. I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a little bit of back and forth, maybe, kind of, sort of, depending on who ends up going with Kimball and Doyle and, you know, all those enemy, you know, all those soldiers and whatnot. However, the episode 5 ends off with Felix and Locust also getting a ping of that same alien cache ping spot on the map, and unfortunately, they get there first. But I think they left empty-handed because they didn't necessarily, first off, they didn't have the key. So I think the fact that the enemies got there first kind of gave us some false hope of like, okay, I guess there's nothing here. But in reality, it's like there's nothing there for them because they didn't have the proper tools to interact with whatever could have been there. And now, by the end of this batch of episodes, the Reds and Blues got there, or the Blues rather, the plot developers, right? And it's all Team Blue, Carolina, I think Caboose, Emily Gray, and Tucker. So it's literally the Blues forwarding the plot again. So actually, yeah, the Reds might actually be with Kimball and, you know, going through that whole situation, which is, again, like, it's just a never-ending gag that, like, the Blues forever forward the plot of this show, which I don't know if we'll ever get out of that hole. So, yeah, first episode was pretty straightforward. We got a little bit of the enemies. We got a little bit of the good guys. Episode wasn't that lengthy. I did like some of the Easter eggs that I discovered. So I did go back and do some research on the fucking... on Junior's 5th grade basketball team. First off, he's a full-grown Healy fucking... He's pretty much like a man at this point. And he's like ginormous compared to all those freaking basketball kids. And I actually ended up finding out, because I did mention that one of them looked like Carrie, and I was actually right about that. So that picture had RT staff kind of photoshopped in as kids. So it was from left to right. It was Carrie Shawcross, the writer on Ruby, voice of Neptune. Patrick Rodriguez, I believe he's the head of live production production, so like the podcast or any live content that they do, like in form of live streams, like the RT podcast. Miles Luna needs no introduction, writer for Red vs. Blue, writer for Ruby, voice of Jean, voice of Felix, voice of David, etc., etc. Josh Ornales, I know he worked on like Machinima and things of that nature regarding Red vs. Blue. And then Kyle Taylor is a name that I vaguely remembered, but I remember that he and Miles did a kind of collaborative or co-op based show for Rooster Teeth called Backwards Compatible, where they play, it was almost kind of like a Let's Play style, very different from Achievement Hunter, which Achievement Hunter is kind of like balls to the wall, crazy entertainment, whereas Backwards Compatible were two friends rather, that kind of played video games together and had interesting commentary, and I think they grew up together as well, so maybe they are best friends. But yeah, I do remember that it was with Miles and Kyle Taylor, so at the very least, that's where he falls into RT staff. Also, you guys might not realize this. Hold your fucking horses. Caboose just took Simmons' job officially.
That's exactly it, Private. War's over. We won. Turns out you're the big hero. We're gonna hold a parade in your honor. I get to drive the float. And Simmons here is in charge of confetti.
Tucker did it.
Our boy Caboose is moving on up in the world. Yeah, I thought of that little joke because they kept mentioning like the confetti and, you know, the freaking child safety lock on the gun now that Freckles is pretty much having parental control over Caboose's gun whenever he shoots it. And that's the, like, over time I was just like, wait a minute. Wait, I swear to God, they've mentioned confetti in the show before, and I think it was actually like the second episode of Red vs. Blue where they were talking about like, this ain't no ice, like Sarge was like, this ain't no ice cream social, you know, you'll be in charge of this, you'll be in charge of this, and Simmons is in charge of confetti, and now Caboose pretty much took his job. Caboose is now in charge of confetti, which is really, really funny. So I just figured that I'd mention that bit just to kind of like bring back like super old Blood Gulch Chronicles nostalgia for the series. So next up, we're getting into episode 6, and episode 6 started off with some Kimball and Washington moment. Oh my God. Yo, my reaction to that moment between the two Federalist soldiers and how they were treating Kimball like a piece of trash until Washington showed up and they immediately were just like, yes, Mr. Agent Washington, sir, we'll get right on it. And then they called it, like, I was so shocked with that scene.
Is there anything you feel like you should say to General Kimball? Bitch.
Remind me to put those two on the front line.
And it was so funny, too, because she was like, yeah, just put them on the front line. I can't wait to put them on the front lines. They're going to be the first one to fucking die. I'll have the last laugh. I can't wait. But there was a bit of, like, a serious moment, too, because she refers to them as her enemies still. And I kind of get it, you know, like, the last batch of episodes, like, the first episode, them two have been bickering nonstop since they had this alliance, right? It was like, you know, food rations and military ammunition rations and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, you know, the enemies are shoring up their numbers. They're getting like this entire ship of prisoners. They're getting weaponry and tech from Charon Industries, from Malcolm Hargrove. They're getting armor enhancements. They're getting, you know, alien technology. And you two have been at each other's throats thus far. And there hasn't been any sense of like a true truce between everyone and like true understanding of like, hey, we are no longer enemies. We have to slowly but surely put this behind us. But right now is not necessarily the time. And so I do like that Washington at the very least was the voice of reason for this scene to at least reinforce to Kimball, like, yeah, they might not be, you know, treating you the best, but that's also because you haven't given them a reason to. You are the bigger person in this picture. You are a commanding officer. You are a leader. And, you know, unfortunately, you're going to have to take some of your undeserved lumps to prove to these people that you are worth following into battle. You are worth their trust. You're worth, you know, putting behind all of the differences and issues that the planet has been suffering under because of this fictitious war between these mercenaries and between Malcolm and, you know, Charon Industries and all of that. So, you know, at the very least right now, they're frenemies. They're like, they're enemies, but they're forced to be friends for now. And I just hope that something gives, or Kimball has a moment, maybe even when they're going after this tractor beam, to kind of rally the troops and to just reinforce to them that they have, that they can be that she can be relied on, that she can be trustworthy, that they don't have to continue to be at each other's throats thus far. It's just going to take some time. It's going to take some genuine effort. And I hope she makes it through, because I really, really like her. She's the 5th one in line at this position. And I just hope nothing bad happens to her, because I really like Lindsay's performance in this regard too. I mentioned it, I think, in season 11, but it's interesting how Rooster Teeth has given Lindsay 2 leadership roles at this point, right? Vanessa Kimball for Red vs. Blue and Ruby Rose from Ruby. And I just love it. I think she has a great knack for leadership, or at the very least for being that authoritative force at the very least, in different ways. Obviously, Ruby has a long way to go. So yeah, so that aspect was great. Loved having a bit of voice of reason from Washington. He's always great to have in scenes. But my favorite scene of the batch, without a doubt, has to be that entire sequence with your boy Malcolm Hargrove. I ultimately, I will admit, I think it's because it's so heavily ingrained in Project Freelancer, right? In the, the origin story of the director and Allison and Church and Epsilon and Alpha and Tex and, the freelancers and the AI and, the whole journey that we went on with that, with those 2 seasons and everything, pretty much the entirety of Red vs. Blue from season 1 to season 10, even if it wasn't to that point initially, was always about the director. It was always about Allison. It was always about the freelancers and the AI and the Reds and Blues getting caught up in that bigger story. I mentioned it in season 12. I mentioned it, I think, in my discussion and throughout the season's reactions and discussions as well. But I mentioned that there were so many loose ends that we still hadn't gotten. We had just gotten Malcolm Hargrove, but we still needed the counselor. We still needed to find out why Maine's armor was in that shipping crate in the end credit scene, and like how that's going to lead into everything else regarding Project Freelancer, and how Miles is going to put that story officially to bed with these last few plot points and references that are being brought back now. And this scene was so incredible. I just want to say right out the gate that I think Malcolm Hargrove is a severely compelling character. I thought I was going to be put off by him because of the emotional attachment that I had to Leonard Church and Allison, and by proxy Church and Tex and the Alpha and the Beta, and I felt like I could gravitate more towards Leonard and Leonard's story and Leonard's, tragedy, a lot more than just understanding, okay, this is just a business tycoon trying to go after, capital, enterprise, the future, the modern future industry and make money and stuff like that. But I don't know, I just really like his mannerisms. I've always loved how the director and the counselor talk. They don't talk like normal people. Dear chairman, dear director, like just the mannerisms, the way in which they speak, the way that they roll their words, the inflection in the words that they use, the inflection in their voice, their directness. On top of that, they have a strong sense of ideology. Their ideologies are clearly completely different for obvious reasons. One is more bent on, seeking an emotional love and, trying to get a semblance of that back in his life. One of them is trying to have like this fucking corporate empire to kind of facilitate his life for the future and all of his plans and ambitions and stuff like that. They're 2 incredibly compelling individuals, and I love that so much about, like, they're so similar but different at the same time, and there's something to like and dislike about both of them as a result. I just love how intimidating he is, the way that he calls up, he calls up Felix and Locus, and he's like, yeah, this thing's not working. I wonder why. It's probably because you 2 aren't working for me. Like, you guys aren't doing your job. We thought you'd be the best. That entire scene was just perfect, in my opinion. I absolutely loved it.
When I hired you, I was promised perfection. I was told that you were the best. Everything we had on your backgrounds and previous missions told me you were the right choice. But here we are.
Sir.
Is it lack of resources? Are the ships I've redirected to your front door not helpful? What about the armor enhancements? Stopping bullets in their tracks? Vanishing into thin air? Are these gifts not good enough for you?
It's complicated.
No, it isn't. In fact, it's remarkably simple. Everything I've built, Everything I've worked towards rests upon a strong foundation. An intricate web of partners, politicians, and clients, each supporting one another, and right now, your thread is straining to support the rest.
And the one thing that I love more than anything, despite the fact of like how pissed off I am that Malcolm Hargrove is almost kind of acting like he's pretty much a hypocrite at this point, considering all the shit that he put the director through. He's doing things, in my opinion, far worse at this point. And he's like super corrupt, and you know, he's going against all the protocol and bullshit that he put, you know, that he was pretty much lighting under Leonard's ass the entire time and boxing him into a fucking corner, you know, when he was already broken and down and kind of out of luck at that point. And he's getting his just desserts now. I hope he gets his just desserts. I hope that season 7 trailer sequence with Tex and the Alpha, and how like they're not done yet and they still have more to go, and the fact that them two as fucking ghosts transcended, right, to Epsilon Tex, to the Alpha, to Epsilon, and then by proxy to Carolina and Epsilon and like Washington. And I'm gonna have like an incredible amount of serotonin by the end of this to kind of really look at the whole picture once everything is said and done, and really have like a victory lap for Leonard and for Allison and everything that we went through this entire time. But I could not help but feel so fucking thrilled to know that Malcolm realizes that the dead weight of this entire operation for the last 2 seasons at this point has been on Felix and Locust. And actually, I'm a little pissed off at Locust for not throwing his boy under the fucking bus, because it's Felix's fault on 2 accounts.
You missed a spot.
Are you done?
Not even close. We're supposed to hate each other. Oh, we do. After all, you should never mix friends with business.
Wrap it up.
You're some of the galaxy's greatest soldiers. Now that couldn't be farther from the truth. But you know, it did make you the perfect candidates to lead the people, of course.
Stop boasting and let me kill them.
But why? Why the capture? Why make us part of this war?
Well, you see...
Felix?
No. I've had to put up with these morons every day, so you let me have this.
Does it hurt? Knowing just how much death you've brought to this planet.
Enough! How many times must I tell you, if you want to make the victim suffer, you do it quickly and efficiently?
Oh, wonderful. Duped by a freelancer posing as one of our own men. Can you taste the irony in that?
If you had kept your ego under control, they'd be dead by now.
Okay, no, we don't have the facts to prove that, alright? So let's not, start throwing blame around or anything, okay? Please. Thank you. You're welcome.
Stop talking.
But you know what? It all means nothing. At the end of the day, if I'm stronger than you, and if I'm faster than you, then I can kill you. And that's better than anything money can buy.
I don't know, man. I think I'd rather be rich than a fucking nut job. What do you think, Church? Yeah, this guy's got no idea what he's talking about. What the fuck is this? Oh, this is Church. He's the AI that helps me run my equipment. What equipment? My helmet cam. Oh! Somebody just got fucking busted. Oh, dude, are you speechless? That's a first.
And so the validation of just seeing, like, holy fuck, Malcolm is, like, not someone to be trifled with. Like, you don't fuck with this man. You don't fuck with this man's ambition. You don't fuck with his money. You don't fuck with his plans, right? He even said, he's like, everything that he's built is built on a strong foundations of politicians, clients, etc., to kind of support each other like a web, right? And right now, them two are straining to pull their weight, and it's kind of fucking up the entire operation to where he's like, okay, let's change your motivation. How about your life? You guys value living, right? It would be unfortunate if you guys failed your mission and then you kind of were, on the chopping block of getting killed off. So maybe money isn't the best motivator. Maybe it's actually fighting for your fucking lives. And this new little armor that we've spruced up could be yours for a generous price of killing the Reds and Blues and everyone on chorus, or we'll give it to somebody else and they'll fucking toast everybody. They'll toast your asses and pick up where you left off. And that really kind of shifted things for me because I feel like the pressure is going to be on, especially for Locust after, you know, the end of this episode batch, which we're definitely going to talk about Locust heavily. But it's, you know, I feel like their backs are definitely going to be against the wall because before it was just money that they had to look forward to and they weren't really like giving a shit if things didn't go off without a hitch because it's like, oh, well, I guess we just won't get paid, but you know, this isn't our problem. But now it's kind of like, well, you're in this whether you like it or not because we've come too far to fail now. My favorite part of this episode, however, and I say this with a heavy heart, is the trophy room. I think the trophy room is a very interesting, it's a very interesting concept for Malcolm Hargrove to have. You know, at the end of the day, that was originally all of the UNSC's technology that they gave to Leonard and the Freelancer project to conduct their experiments with what they thought were the best of intentions for the war and stuff like that. And Leonard had ulterior motives, of course, you know, everything from splicing AI to, you know, the armor enhancements to CT's armor, which has never been found to this day. It's buried in the fucking desert somewhere now with Pillman, and, you know, Maine's armor and whatnot. And it was just a trip down memory lane. I saw things here and there throughout the episode. I didn't necessarily comment on it. Like, I think the only thing I commented on was Tex's, Epsilon Tex's helmet. That was like the first shot you saw as the scene played out. So I really, really liked that. But upon going back and rewatching the episode and taking these notes, I couldn't believe how much memorabilia was there from the Project Freelancer days. I wrote all of them down, or at least all the ones that I could notice. So the first one, of course, was Epsilon Tex's helmet. You could see that it had like the crack in it, and that was obviously from the season 8 conflict.
Is failing. Epsilon, it's over.
Following that, the next one that I noticed was the little monitor, which was like the Epsilon orb that Caboose initially put him into, I think during season 7 or season 8. That was like the first instance of Epsilon having like a consciousness and being able to talk and interact with Caboose. Caboose telling him all those stories and stuff.
I am not a thing. My name is Leonard Church, and you will fear my laser face. Ooh, hell yeah! Dude, you just got fucked up!
Uh-oh, look out! It's the big guy! And there's...
Get them, Meta! Get them!
Washington!
Ow! Ow! What? Stop it! Tex, you are embarrassing me! Ow! Stop! Ow! Hey, are you gonna get out? Are you gonna help me or not?
The third one was awesome. The one that I noticed was the Griff shot. The fucking Maine's original weapon that was repurposed to Griff, renamed the Griff shot, and became Griff's signature weapon for a really long time until I think it got confiscated after season 10, after they were pardoned from the UNSC, after the UNSC recovered all the tech. So yeah, the Griff shot was another one that I really liked seeing again.
All right, everyone, spread out. What we need is here somewhere. It's probably something small, easy to miss. Take as many scans as possible. There may be other things here we can use.
That's a good look. Actually, there's still one thing you haven't taken.
Whoa!
Great Ginsu gun show!
Is that what I think it is? Is that whose I think it is?
Stolen alien weaponry used by the scariest fucking mute in the galaxy? Yeah, pretty much.
It's like half knife, half rifle. What would you call that?
I don't know, but we'll take it. No, there is no way I'm giving up the Griff shot. Oh, please, what were you gonna do? Eat off it? Actually, dickhead, I asked Donut to mount it for me in the base. And you know I can't resist a good mounting. You've been hiding one of the most advanced pieces of technology known to man, so you can hang it in your living room? Well, when you say it like that, it sounds dumb. That's because it is dumb!
We just want to look at it.
That's what the UNSC guy said about the Griff shot, and I never saw it again.
The what?
Meta's weapon. Griff kept it as a trophy until the UNSC confiscated it.
Until then, I thought I was the only one man enough around here to cry, but Griff proved me wrong. Ha! It had sentimental value.
One of them that was really hard to notice at first until I got it from a different angle, it was actually a pistol. Yeah, it seems like they ran up into Leonard's facilities, right? The facilities that were granted them by the UNSC, and they confirmed Church's death, and they recovered Carolina's pistol that was given to her by Washington that she inevitably gave to the director that he used to end his life at the end of season 10.
Agent Carolina?
Yes, Director.
Would you be so kind as to leave me your pistol? Thank you, Carolina.
Goodbye, sir.
I wish I knew.
I see.
And don't worry, you'll see me again.
Perhaps the next time around.
It has been an honor, sir.
And the last of the physical items, which was in the very far back, was actually the Epsilon capture unit. It's very interesting how at the time, right, in season 8 was when it was the last time that we saw it, and the guys were just like, yeah, just throw it in storage, it's junk. But Malcolm, like, was going to the fucking trash, like the lost and found, to add this to his Project Freelancer collection. I thought it was just really funny, but yeah, the Epsilon capture unit is in there as well.
Great, he's done. Why is it sparking like that? This thing's been through a lot. It's pretty badly damaged. But now that it's a capture unit, we just need to get it near Epsilon, and we can pull him in. What if it breaks? Don't worry. It'll hold until we get him. After that, it doesn't matter. It can short out for all I care. Then what's the point of all this? I just have to deliver Epsilon to the chairman. I don't have to guarantee what condition I deliver him in. He's just evidence anyway. Meta, grab him. Doc, get ready to move. Be more careful! This thing can't take any more hits! Meta, take it! Hit her! Meta, wait! We don't need to hurt her, we only need... Epsilon, there's nothing we can do. She's stuck in there. So, let her out! We rigged it so it's one way. We didn't want you to escape again. We'll unrig it! If I let her out, you have to come with me. Yes, fine. Just get her out. I can get her out. What? No. It's my only option. I need you, Epsilon. You're my only ticket out of this mess. If you get stuck in there, they'll never believe me. I'm not going back to prison. I can do it. No, I won't let you. You can't stop me.
Hey, Chief, what do you want me to do with this thing? I can't get anything out of it. It's dead as a doornail.
I don't care. Toss it in evidence. It's all a bunch of junk now anyway.
Unfortunately, another thing that is in there that, we've been hearing from time to time is the Phyllis AI. I don't know how he did it. I don't know if they're going to explain it. Maybe it's just we're supposed to expect that, but I really hope that if the Reds and Blues ever make it onto the staff of Charon's ship, that they are able to interact with Phyllis and shut her down. Like, do what unfortunately wasn't able to be done when the director gave that order. I don't know if she tried to shut herself down and she was recovered by the UNSC during the time when they went through the place and kind of grabbed all of this information and stuff like that, or even if like she was deleted and he like found a truncated version of or corrupt version of Phyllis and repurposed her, rewired her to serve him now. But like, it's just, I get so depressed whenever I hear her voice because she's not the chipper, Phyllis that we know. She's not the chipper Sheila that we once knew. And it's just really sad, but he also does have the Phyllis AI.
Thank you, Phyllis. Now I would like you to erase all our files except for this one.
All our files? Does that include me, Director?
It has been a pleasure working with you, Phyllis. I am sorry.
And you as well, Director.
And before you do, please shut down all the facility systems as well. Take everything offline.
Director, this is a sealed facility. If I shut down all the systems, life support would not...
Thank you, Phyllis. Shut them all down. Lock me in.
All right. Was the project a success? Did you find what you were looking for?
No, I did not. But I believe I might have come very close. I wish I knew.
I see.
And don't worry, you'll see me again.
Perhaps the next time around.
It has been an honor, sir.
Don't say goodbye. I hate goodbyes.
Phyllis,
Yes, Chairman.
please clear my schedule for the rest of the day.
Yes, Chairman.
And, Phyllis, could you verify that Lucas's delivery was sent to the trophy room?
The crate from the shipwreck was unloaded and delivered this morning, sir.
Wonderful.
But the biggest fucking trophy in that entire room, and something that I cannot believe has been achieved at this point through the efforts of everything that we've known in the show so far, all of the context clues, all of the, breadcrumbs that we've been leading up to this point, was the return of Agent Maine, the Meta's armor.
Do you have any idea what this is?
The armor of Freelancer Agent Maine.
The Meta.
Not anymore. This is the future of modern warfare. Active camouflage, enhanced strength, light shields. Dr. Church paired each of his freelancers with specialized equipment, but with our modifications. This suit contains all of them.
And so before we get into all of the stuff in depth, I'm so fucking validated by the fact, and I mentioned it during my reaction to, I'm so validated by the fact that I had the foresight to think in my head that when the UNSC showed up at the end of season 8 to, collect all of the tech, found out that Washington was dead and, Texas was dead and all that stuff, and they threw the capture unit into storage, I said at the time that I wonder if they're going to get Maine's corpse in the water to recover all of the armor abilities and the enhancements and the armor itself that he had there, because they were there and he had assets to it. And the fact that the armor is standing here in front of us, repurposed with all of the original armor abilities that were given to the late Dr. Church, it makes sense. And I'm so happy that I was on the money, that I was that perceptive at that time, right? I think I talked about it during my season 11 discussion, but when I found out that Felix and Locust had armor abilities as well, and I'll talk about that as well. I'm just so happy that my finger was on the pulse that early about it. We're 12 seasons in now. Like, we're about to start season 12. We never got closure on Caron Industries. We never got closure on what Malcolm Hargrove's been up to since the closure of Project Freelancer. And those were two major plot focused things that happened during Project Freelancer that we still haven't gotten answers to. And I feel like that is probably the most overlooked thing that will eventually come back and be some type of plot twist as season 12 or 13 carry on. But what really caught me when I rewatched this was the moment where Washington asks Felix about Locust's armor.
How was he able to cloak himself? Locust, he turned invisible. How?
The Federal Army's got all sorts of fancy stuff. I got my light shield off a dead soldier.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
It's just that I've never seen that kind of equipment outside of Project Freelancer.
Welcome to the future, Wash. Technology's incredible, and everyone uses it to kill each other.
Does that mean your guys have the same equipment?
I wish. The New Republic's barely getting by with what they can. You wouldn't happen to have any high-tech armor aboard that wreck, would you?
Plenty of armor, just nothing out of the ordinary.
So, during my reaction, I was popping off because I was like, wait a minute. Armor abilities? You need an AI to run an armor ability. Holy shit, maybe AI are coming back. But then I stopped and I rewatched that. When I rewatched season 11, I watched that scene and I had this fucking Jimmy Neutron brain blast moment. So I'm gonna ask a question and I'm gonna answer that question because clearly you guys can't answer it for me. Does more than one armor of the same armor ability exist in the world? Now, the question that I have is that those armor abilities were given to Project Freelancer by the UNSC, right? Who oversees the transfer of military grade technology, armor and AI and all that stuff? Malcolm Hargrove, right? Well, before he was the assistant to the oversight subcommittee chairperson back then, but now he's the oversight subcommittee chairperson. But because the UNSC is no longer a part of Chorus, they don't have jurisdiction, they're not there anymore, how are the Federalists still have that technology? Unless my theory is that Malcolm Hargrove is also a part of Caron. He's playing that double agent. He would be the one that would be able to give the Federalists this super secret high-tech armor And another thing, the reason why I asked about the armor, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I'm just popping off because this is all the shit that I've been thinking of. Another thing is the reason I asked if there's more than one armor ability is because the only character that we've ever seen in this show who has had invisibility as an armor ability was Texas / the Meta when he stole it from her. The Meta died in season 8, right? Now, when Washington was going, he was Recovery 1, right? So when Washington was going around getting all of the, you know, trying to secure all of the AI and the, you know, cover up the mess of the freelancers, wasn't he there to recover their AI and or their armor abilities and return it to the UNSC, right? Wasn't that like his core objective to like recover all of this tech? So, for example, right, in season 8, when the Meta got like launched off of the cliff and fell into the water and drowned probably, the UNSC showed up afterwards, and that was when Washington faked his death. I wonder if they recovered the Meta's body, got all of the armor abilities back, and now the invisibility cloak that Locus is using was the invisibility that Tex previously had. Like, I wonder if that invisibility is the exact same one, but it was recovered by the UNSC, Malcolm Hargrove, but because he's theory right now, Malcolm Hargrove is also Charon Industries, and Charon Industries is controlling Chorus right now, like they're a part of the Federalists. I wonder if Malcolm now gave the armor ability to Locus to help him better win the war or better win for, you know, the Federalist side of things as a mercenary for hire. And that's the theory. But I don't think we've ever seen someone else with the same armor ability as someone from Project Freelancer is what I'm getting at. And so because he has invisibility, I was like, wait, is that the same one? The only way they would have gotten it is if they got it off of the Meta, which the UNSC were there at the time when, during the aftermath, when Wash like faked his death, and they were like, oh, throw that capture unit into storage, we don't need it anymore. And then the new, you know, season 9 started. So I wonder, that's my big super 200 IQ galaxy brain play, like, theory for season 12. I really don't know other than that.
The armor enhancements had to be removed and studied in secret so that we could create the modified versions you both carry now.
All of the research, everything that the director had kind of built off of, right? And it's kind of funny the way you think about it, and this is going to be a little apropos to say, but it almost seems like Leonard was an alpha tester. Pun intended for the alpha being the AI that was based on the director, but it's almost like Leonard was an alpha tester for the AI fragments, and the armor enhancement abilities, because his variations that he gave to his freelancers was very primitive. One armor enhancement to one AI fragment. And then it was reinforced where, you know, the mercenaries were kind of like the beta testers for the new version that was built up by the UNFC and Charon Industries or whatever partnership that developed, where, you know, Felix and Locus are examples of it, where they have armor enhancements without the use of AI. And now it seems like we've moved from the alpha stage to the beta stage to the final stage, right? We're literally on the cusp of final production line of this armor enhancement where you can manage every single armor enhancement ability. And it seems like now the only thing that you need is one AI to manage everything. Technically speaking, apparently through the development that they've gone through, they realize that you can technically run all of them, but it's super taxing on the mind. And I feel like that's kind of almost like the equivalent of like what the alpha testers went through with Leonard. And so Malcolm mentioned that he's actually trying to get an AI through legitimate means. I don't know if he means like an AI based on himself. I don't know if he means, you know, an AI based on someone else that he can just use for the purposes. But obviously Leonard's, you know, tomfoolery that he went through with the alpha unit and the fragments and everything kind of made that almost like not impossible, but damn near impossible compared to what they could have done with just doing it willy-nilly, you know what I mean? But I was technically right, because I said, I said that it was her original. But Malcolm here confirms that they took these individual armor abilities and studied them in secret to then redistribute them to Locust and Felix respectively for the armor abilities that they have now. So I wouldn't be surprised if he took York's bubble shield, or, you know, South's bubble shield, since she took it off her brother. York's bubble shield, I wouldn't be surprised if if they researched York's bubble shield to then be developed into the hard light shield that Felix uses to deflect bullets, because that's kind of what a bubble shield does. And then obviously, self-explanatory, using Tex's invisibility cloak, you know, he used that and kind of purposed it to where Locust could use it without the use of an AI, and then they started manufacturing them. So I think that shit's super incredible, and it also makes sense because Carolina ended up finding the bubble shield in the possession of like some space pirates on one of the outposts that they took over. So it kind of makes sense that they were researching at least the bubble shield to translate it to Felix's like shield too. I think that's actually what happened, and I was really happy that I was right about that.
Agent Carolina, we've retrieved what appears to be a domed energy shield from within the complex.
The bubble shield? Are you sure?
What's it do? Yeah, we're pretty sure.
That's great. We can hook it up and start running some tests in a few hours.
So I'm gonna get a little speculative on this here, and I feel like it could have some implications for, you know, future things that happen within this season, because, you know, this is the end of the Chorus trilogy. On what Malcolm said here.
So what? You want us to capture the Epsilon AI?
Recovering Freelancer equipment is always a priority, Felix, but the Epsilon unit is far too old to run this suit properly.
So there's 2 points here that I wanted to address. Number one, he mentions that, you know, recovering Freelancer tech is always a priority, Felix. That's the first bit that I want to talk about. And I mentioned this in my season 12 discussion as well, where Malcolm forced Washington to work alongside the meta to bring back Epsilon during the Recollection trilogy, right? Season 6, season 7, and season 8. And he never ended up getting Epsilon. He ended up getting everything else but him. And I always wondered, like, will he eventually go after Epsilon because he never got him in the past? And I wonder if it's a possibility. I don't know how that would work. I don't know if they're going to use the capture. You know, they have the capture unit. Maybe they can make a more robust variation of it to try to get Epsilon out of whoever has him at the time, whether it's Tucker or Carolina or whoever. You know, I assume it's just going to be Carolina at this point because he was with Tucker for that kind of diversion point. But that's the first thing. I'm like, is Epsilon at risk of being caught? You know, and potentially taking into custody, and what would happen to him at that point? How would he be utilized if he's, you know, will he just be thrown in a capture unit and forgotten about and put on the display in a trophy room like all the other Project Freelancer memorabilia? You know, because he has too much agency to ever want to work for someone like Malcolm. But Malcolm also says the Epsilon model is too old to run the armor, and that's scary to think about for me right now. Because I remember mentioning, I think it was, I forgot which season that it was that I started talking about. I think it was season 10, actually, or even season 11, where I mentioned that there were a couple of times, actually, I think it was season 10, my season 10 discussion, where I mentioned that there were some points throughout season 10, 2 in particular, one of them with Carolina when she was seeing when she was looking at, you know, when Epsilon showed her York's logs with the help of Delta, and another moment with Tucker where where it showed Epsilon was kind of like glitching out a little bit. And at the time I was like, is Epsilon getting old? Because I know that the concept of AI, you know, they have a terminal state, which is the stage of rampancy where they are manually terminated, you know, because they pretty much kind of go batshit crazy with like thoughts of grandeur and godlike potential, and they fucking hate their creators, and they think that they're godlike and all that stuff, and they have to be taken out for their own good. And, you know, I always said to myself, I'm like, well, he's a fragment, so does that still put him under the category of having an expiration date? You know, can't you just update the firmware and keep him around forever? You know, especially since he's the last fragment of all of the AI that have come before him. All right, so this was mainly present in the episode between York and Carolina, where Epsilon was kind of digging through the memories of himself to kind of find Epsilon Delta and the logs of York. And he was going through like this glitchy kind of phase where he was, I don't know, it looked like he was like malfunctioning, if you will. And then he has like a different aesthetic when you see him in his little computerized AI form. And he just looks like he's malfunctioning and glitching out of control. I don't know if it's based on him as an AI, but it was the moment that was at the beginning and the end of the York and Carolina moment, as well as what he said to Tucker regarding his connection with Carolina.
Carolina?
I'm done talking to you.
Carolina, I think I found something you might want to see, because I know what it's like to spend your life chasing ghosts. Hey, Church, over here! Yeah, hey, well, I can't talk too long. My connection from Carolina's memory unit's not so good.
And I don't know if this is based on a couple of things. So first off, the idea of like a fragment going rampant. I don't know if it's based on that because he is a fragment, so he's not treated the same way as like Alpha or as Cortana, which I know full AI go through like a 7-year cycle of operation before they start going through the stages and eventually have to be terminated because they think themselves to death and all that other stuff. Epsilon, of course, has lasted for years, even from the moment that he was created in the capture unit, in the memory unit of Project Freelancer, all the way to where we are now. And I don't even know how long Epsilon's going to be a part of the story before whatever the hell happens, because I don't know the fate of him or any of these characters. I don't know what's happening by the time season 17 rolls around. So I think it might be a fact of like wear and tear, the fact that he's just existed for so long, and like every computer program, things break, if things aren't maintained and kept up to par, they just degrade over time. Also, I think it's based on the fact that memory is the key, and he, in essence, is memory. And if he's breaking off all of these memories of himself, right? Breaking off Epsilon Tex, breaking off Epsilon Delta from time to time. If he goes through all of these Epsilon iterations of himself, Epsilon Gamma, Epsilon Theta, Epsilon Eta, and Iota, what is left of Epsilon? You know what I mean? So I don't know if this is a result of him tapping into his memory a little too much, because it happened for the first time now, you know, and he's gone into his Epsilon Delta form a couple of times in the past, like in the Orb, and for the first time when the capture unit first opened and stuff like that. So I just don't know if this is a cause for concern, like if I should be alarmed, if I should be worried, because it's just something that I've never seen before. And I completely forgot to mention it in last week's batch. It was in my notebook and I kind of glossed over it because I think I was like rambling about something else and it got lost in my transitions, if you will. So Epsilon glitching, or Church glitching rather, is, I don't know if it's a byproduct of how long he's existed, if it's because he's dipping into his memories a little too much, or if they just went for like a kind of aesthetic-y type of feel for that moment, which, I don't know, it just kind of set me off. So the glitching was a little bit of a concern. I kind of wanted to bring that to y'all's attention just so you guys knew that I was aware of it. And so, you know, I'm wondering if that's a possibility. Like when he says he's getting too old, like I get too old, right? It's like you're running firmware 1.0, we're in firmware 6.0 with this armor. So the data, the tech that ran Epsilon is outdated. But I wonder if there are bigger implications there with the lifespan of an AI, a fragment AI at that, which I assume would be less. And at this point, I think many years have passed since Project Freelancer, when Epsilon was created, the start of the Red vs. Blue series, and from Blood Gulch Chronicles to now, years had to have passed. I would say at least 10 years in the universe from Project Freelancer to now had to have passed in some way, shape, or form. You know, these characters have aged. Carolina has gotten older. You know, Project Freelancer was considered many, many years ago compared to the present day time of season 10. And even then, there's definitely been points where like months have passed and years have passed and people have been relocated, right? There was Blood Gulch, there was Valhalla, you know, then there was, you know, the place that they were on the Chorus planet. So like years have had to have passed by now, and I'm just wondering if they're hitting that terminal year point for when an AI inevitably just kind of goes dark. And I just don't know if that means that this is going to be Epsilon's last season. I don't know if he's going to get captured and destroyed, or if he's going to die out from, you know, technology wear and tear and just aging out of like existence because, you know, all technology ends up breaking. But I mentioned that in my season 10 or season 11 discussion, and I just wanted to reinforce it here because that fear has always lived with me because, you know, we lost, and it's kind of crazy to think of, but initially we lost Alpha, and then we lost Leonard, and we could potentially lose Epsilon. You know, it's like my favorite character could potentially die for the third time, permanently even, because there's no, you know, there's no Leonard to recreate the Alpha to ever be in that situation again, and I just don't know how I would feel about that. To say goodbye to my favorite character for the third time, you know, third time's the charm and all that. But yeah, it's just something that I've thought about since back then that I'm just worried about now, given Malcolm's choice of words. But yeah, with all that said for the episode, Felix and Locust are now on borrowed time. It's either finish your mission or get killed off. The one thing that I'm curious about is if they did complete their mission, which I don't think they're going to, but let's just say they did complete their mission, who would get the armor? Because there's only, are they going to give an armor set to both of them, right? But this one is for field testing. So like, would Locust get the armor? Would Felix get the armor? And what would you do if, say, Felix got the armor and then decided to go rogue? He's like, I'm actually going to keep this armor and I'm not giving it back. What countermeasure would you have to stop someone like Felix, a complete fucking psychopath who would kill everybody around him if he had, you know, if it struck his fancy, especially since after this mission he's gonna be filthy stinking rich. You know, at the end of the day, it's just like the thrill of the hunt for him to be a one-man killing machine. You know, are there protocols in play to prevent someone from going AWOL with that kind of modernized weaponry and power? You know what I mean? But only time will tell, I guess. And so that was episode 6, my favorite of the batch thus far. Before we get into the last episode, there were also some Easter eggs that I noticed here. So one of them I noticed in real time, and I wish I had noticed the second one, but I noticed the JNPR4 on the headline of Malcolm's, like screen that he was talking to Felix and Locust on. And I noticed JNPR is a Ruby reference representing Jean, Nora, Pyrrha, and Ren of Team Juniper in Ruby. But as I was rewatching the episode, I noticed that they had RWBY in there too. They had Ruby in there, Ruby, Weiss, Blake, Yang, Red, White, Black, Yellow, the name of the show, you know, the titular character team of the show, or the lead team, I should say. But yeah, they had Team Ruby and I thought it was weird that Juniper was just there, but they had Team Ruby and Team Juniper, which obviously at that point Ruby was already established. I think season 13 of RVB came out first, and then it was Ruby Volume 3 that came out. So at that point, Ruby was already, you know, going into its third volume. That was super cool to see. The other initials on that headline were also initials of the RT staff that were in that basketball picture. So again, Carrie Shawcross, Miles Luna, Patrick Rodriguez, Josh Ornales, and Kyle Taylor. I don't know all their middle names, but at least the first and last names match up with those names in particular. So I did research that. That was really cool. And then I noticed when, you know, the camera shifted that there's like, it's really cool too, because it kind of talks about some of like the world building aspects of things that are going on in the world, whether it's, you know, human alien conflict, you know, other things that are developing in the galaxy. And it just kind of reinforces that this world is alive, despite we're only focusing on the Reds, the Blues, the Freelancers, Charon Industries, etc. But there was like this news headline that was scrolling on the side of the screen, and I managed to freeze frame and write down a bunch of the ones that I saw here. So in order, it was human extremists attack Sanghili Embassy, which again, that kind of goes into like the human alien Great War conflict between, you know, aliens and humans. Griffball strike still going strong, so Griffball's at stake a little bit there. Bomb found outside UNSC headquarters, which is kind of sus. Web company opened studio on the moon, which is kind of funny because I think in this episode batch, Kimball mentioned something about, like, you know, the moon or whatever. So that was interesting. Charon stock doubles after Monday press conference. And I wonder if that's the press conference that was in the first episode. So I thought that was really interesting.
Beside you.
Mr. Chairman, what about the what makes you so trying to drive up the stock of Charon Industries?
Now, that's enough questions for today. Remember, All good things must come to an end.
I liked this reference too here. Pineapple unveils new phone, which that's a clear reference to the tech giant Apple and, you know, unveiling a new phone like every year, right? The iPhone. I really, really like that. I thought that was really creative. Hold your fucking horses, because I think Rooster Teeth just predicted the future with this next one here. Teen hacks into dodecagon. So I actually had to research this because I was like, this has to be a reference to something. I was like, dodecagon. So a dodecagon is like almost like it's like a pentagon, but with like, I think 12 sides. Like, so like a dodecagon, hexagon, pentagon, octagon, etc. So it's a shape. And so I was like, is that a reference to the Pentagon? And I don't know if I have this right. Fact check me on this. Anyone who's watching this portion right here, please fact check me just to make sure I'm right. So I had to look this up, and I was blown away by this. So this episode of Red vs. Blue, Season 13, Episode 6, released for sponsors or first members at the time on May 10th, 2015, okay? I literally went to Google, and so I was like, is this a reference to someone hacking into the Pentagon? So I looked it up, and it turns out that there is a story like that. On July 5th, 2016, an individual, an 18-year-old by the name of David Dworkin, hacked into the Pentagon and, you know, informed them that they had some gaps in their website infrastructure. But the thing is, this episode of Red vs. Blue came out a year before that happened. So unless someone else, another teen, hacked into the Pentagon before, and then it happened again in 2016, because this episode came out in 2015, May 2015, and then in July of 2016, or June in 2016, someone actually hacked in, a teenager, an 18-year-old hacked into the Pentagon. Can someone please fact check this and double these numbers up and tell me that this isn't true, or tell me that this is true, and that Rooster Teeth, like, their show low-key confirmed or predicted the future? Or even crazier, what if this David kid was a Red vs. Blue fan in 2015 and he was like, yo, this teenager that hacked into the dodecagon gave me inspiration to hack into the real life Pentagon on my after I turn 18, because I'm still 17 right now. But yeah, crazy shit. I have no fucking clue if that's true or not, but let me know. And that's the first thing that I thought of regarding that. Another one that I really liked is it shows the prison transport declared missing, which clearly the transport that Felix yoinked out of like the freaking galaxy went missing, you know, after he killed all the staff. And it's kind of funny because the captain of that ship was basically like, no one gives a rat's ass if we're out here. People could take us and no one would care. And he's like, all right, I will take you. And then after they got taken, then they were shown on the headlines like, oh, actually that ship that no one gave a fuck about, it's missing, by the way. So I liked that. Again, it just shows that the world is alive. You know, there are repercussions for actions that are happening.
Truth be told, no one gives a rat's ass about the people on this ship. Anybody out there really wanted them, they could have them.
All right. I'll take them.
What you mean?
I mean, I'm going to kill you and take your prisoners.
And then the last one was a little hard to make out, but I kind of went into it with a little bit, like there was another scene or another shot that was a little blurred out. But the last headline reads, Hargrove considering vice presidency. You know, Malcolm was originally the assistant to the oversight subcommittee chairperson. And I'm assuming this is on the UNSC side because he's already the CEO of Charon Industries. Originally, he was the assistant to the oversight subcommittee chairperson, and then he got a promotion to chairman of the oversight subcommittee, and I think he's considering a promotion from chairman of the oversight subcommittee to vice president of the oversight subcommittee, and maybe even the president if his stocks go well, if this, you know, a whole alien conflict thing works out in his favor, and he enters a new area or a new division of warfare and of, you know, corporation and enterprise and all that stuff, to where he feels like he's earned that position or people trust to elect him for that position or whatever. So that's another thing too. So again, world building stuff, super cool. Really glad that Rooster Teeth put the effort into those headlines. I feel like that's something that probably went over majority of fans' heads. But the fact that I'm like super nitty gritty and I'm looking at every single detail, I'm really glad that they did that because I really appreciated it. So yeah, that's episode 6, and we have now reached the last episode, episode 7, which was more villain perspective. I was actually not expecting to just get, you know, Malcolm Hargrove, you know, giving it to the mercenaries, and then it immediately shifts to the mercenaries perspective for majority of the episode, actually the whole episode really, and it kind of hones in more so on Locust, which I'm really excited to talk about my theories, my speculations, my hopes for this character moving forward, because that was such an entertaining and exciting aspect of finding out who this man is. And that's what the fucking alien said. The alien's like, who are you? And there were more implications than just simply wanting to know his identity. I feel like that was internal. But yeah, so the episode starts off where they find out that there's like these alien teleporters, or these gateways rather. And so again, I just want to say, like, the alien that's talking to them, I don't know if that's like that red, like, alien hologram AI thing that Tucker like slashed through in episode 4. Or if it's literally like some alien god talking to them from the great beyond or whatever, and is trying to figure out if they're worthy of his weapons and his machines and his, you know, weapons of mass destruction and all of that. So I'm just gonna put that out there too, because I don't know if this is like a mental struggle or a mental quiz or a mental test. But obviously aliens kind of inhabited this place at one point, or at least their civilizations did. And now they're just trying to, you know, now they're making contact, they're making contact with a variety of different people, like Tucker, you know, Emily Gray, now the mercenaries and things of that nature. So they mentioned that these these gateways were initially used as like a base for what eventually became the future cubes, or the teleporter cubes, which, by the way, where the fuck is Doc? All of the teleporter cubes got blown up. So like I just remember that. I'm like, bro, like, Doc got fucking yoinked out of existence with one of those things. I don't think we've seen him again since. And now there's no more teleporter cubes. So where's he coming? Is he coming back? Did they like, just, was the voice actor not interested in season 13? You know, like, I just remembered that. These future cubes, like, the future cubes are all gone, I think. I think they all got, like, self-destructed after the alien kind of, like, did his, like, flash thing at one of those towers. And it's just like, we're just still not gonna address Doc. Like, I don't know. I feel bad for Doc, man. I don't know how they're gonna bring him back now, or if he got teleported somewhere and he's just big chilling until we find him. But yeah, I don't know. I just fucking realized that. But anyways, these gateways, you know, they have like a saying, or like the transcripts on the walls mention, only a true warrior may enter, someone with great strength and mental clarity. And then obviously, you know, Felix and Locust go back and forth about it, like, oh, what would happen if someone doesn't complete it? And I saw it coming from a fucking mile away when Felix just fucking kicked that one guy in. It was so fucked up, such a dick move. But I saw that coming. I was like, bro, this shit writes itself, man. Like, I knew it, and I knew Felix of all people would be the one to do it too. I want to talk about this a true warrior possessing great strength and mental clarity. Now, if you guys didn't watch it, I highly recommend you go and check out my season 12 review discussion for season 12 overall. That is up on the channel. Even before this is being recorded, it was uploaded. Because I feel like this could come down to 2 characters, and it depends on what Miles had in mind or how Miles planned it out. So I'm just gonna reinforce something that I said back during season 12 and way back during season 3 before I get into it. An alien sword from 10 seasons ago, like 9 or 10 seasons ago, has newfound relevancy now. And its relevancy back then was very ominous, because it mentioned that, like, the Great Destroyer, it'll be like a blue person a blue, you know, someone known as the Great Destroyer who's blue is gonna bring about the destruction of of everything. The end is nigh. So what I'm actually trying to grasp right now and think about is the blue alien from like season 3, season 4. I think it was season 3. That blue alien was dubbed the Great Destroyer. And I'm wondering now if contextually, with the plot that's going on, Tucker's key is Tucker's sword is the key. So I wonder if that alien traveled from Chorus, or somewhere around this part of the galaxy, to wherever the reds and blues were back then, to get this sword, which was the key, to then go back and unlock these alien vaults to bring about the great destruction as the prophecy once intended, right? The blue alien, it was supposed, but Tucker's blue, and Tucker has the sword now. So what if the prophecy was never the alien, but the prophecy was always prophesized that a blue person that holds the sword would be the key to salvation or destruction. It was never the alien. It was Tucker. And by virtue of this episode, it kind of seems like the prophecy is coming true. The sword was always the key. It's regarding earlier season relevance, which again coincides with giving this potential and this opportunity to Tucker for further character development, because he's the only one that can use the sword. He's the only one that can have direct relevancy with the aliens. His kid's an alien, and his kid might actually be out there and be relevant this season.
This is the housing facility for the Great Weapon. I am the keeper of the Great Weapon. You are the Great Destroyer. You will demolish this facility, kill me, steal the Great Weapon, and bring about the Great Doom for billions of people.
What are you talking about?
Your coming has been foretold by the Great Prophecy.
Does your society have any other adjectives besides great?
The Great Prophecy warns the Great Destroyer will be a blue being.
And you think that's me?
The blue being will be known as the stupidest life form in the universe.
Wait a second. This Destroyer guy. He dresses like me, but he's dumber than anyone else in existence.
Correct.
Oh, crap.
Mr. Sergeant! Mr. Sergeant! Come quick!
Caboose, I know you're there. I'm leaving this message from 2,000 years in the past. Whatever you do, don't touch anything. Apparently you're this culture's version of the apocalypse. You're going to destroy this building and somehow bring about doom for their entire race. Whatever you do, don't touch the glowing weapon thing they have stored there. Uh-oh. And if you do, definitely don't bring it into the main building.
What's up, dogs?
Otherwise, the whole place is gonna lock down and you're gonna be trapped.
Gary, I need you to tell me some more about the alien race that needs Tucker's sword.
I do not know anything about them.
You don't know anything about the aliens that programmed you?
Correct. Instead, they filled all my memory banks with information about the Great Destroyer and his race.
You mean humans?
That is not what they call you, but correct.
Why? What do they call us?
Chisno, the Great Destroyer has arrived. The end is near.
Whoa! Who killed all the robots?
You did.
No, I didn't.
What?
I've been downstairs trying to figure out how to turn this sword on.
Wait a second. Just push the power button.
I did. That didn't work.
Yeah, that's surprising.
The end is near. The Great Destroyer has arrived. The end is near. The Great Destroyer has arrived. The end is near. The Great Destroyer has arrived. The end is near.
Oh, come on, Gary, stop. Hey, if Tex is not the destroyer from the prophecy, then who is? Gary?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
So from those two moments in time, one way far back, I think it was like, what, season 3, season 4, like with Gary and the fucking Great Destroyer and the prophecy. It's kind of crazy how Gary was the deceit. And I went completely over my head that Gary was lying to Alpha the whole time. But like now it seems like that lie is coming true, right? I think it said something along the lines of like a blue being will bring about great hope or great ruin, great destruction, whatever. The end is nigh. The Great Destroyer has come. The end is nigh. And then it turned out to be Crunchbite. And I was like, back then I thought it was Caboose. Church was like, oh my God, like it's Caboose. And now Tucker is the one with the key. Tucker's the one with the alien connections with Junior and, you know, the alien ambassador, you know, an ambassador for human-alien relations. Tucker's the main character of the Chorus trilogy. So in my mind, I'm like, it's either Tucker or it's Caboose that we're talking about. And I'll go a little bit further in why I think that too. So again, Tucker mainly, main character. He has the key, he has the sword, he's got relations to aliens like Junior, he has relations with aliens, you know, over the course of the season. He's developed into that main character role, and I feel like he could have that potential, right? I don't know what it means by, like, great strength. Like, maybe he's a good fighter, he's good with the sword. Mental clarity is the one thing that I'm a little unsure about, because Tucker doesn't seem to have, like, the most, you know, he's not, I don't know, like, Tucker kind of has a lot of crazy shit going on, especially with all of this stuff that's been put on him. So I feel like he has a lot of mental fatigue and mental, what's the word I'm looking for? Like mental, like I feel like he's just like mentally overloaded and overstimulated with everything that's going on. Caboose, on the other hand, would be the biggest fucking, like, first off, it's crazy. It's so crazy that I would believe it. Like, like wholesale. Like if they were just like, it's Caboose, I'd be like, no fucking way, get the fuck out of here. And then when it happens, I'd be like, no fucking way, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if Caboose is the answer, it's like, why am I even surprised at this point? But more importantly, there are 2 points within the entirety of the show that, at the very least, first off, Caboose is blue. That's what the false prophecy that was collaborated by Gary suggested, that originally it was Caboose that was the Great Destroyer. But Caboose has shown that he's had great strength through the fact that he's channeled the inner rage of O'Malley and Omega, and he's shown that he can actually fuck shit up on more than one occasion.
I told you, my name isn't Caboose.
My name is O'Malley.
My name is Michael J. Caboose, and I hate babies.
It's the Beast! The anti-flag! Come to live among us and rule us for 7 years! The end is nigh! Yikes!
Yowza!
Ow!
Wow!
I will eat your unhappiness. My name is Michael J. Caboose, and I hate taxes.
It's Texas, you idiot!
That too.
And secondly, I think it's Caboose because I actually think mental clarity is just a nice way of saying that there's nothing going on up here with Caboose. Like, I actually think that it just means, like, mental clarity. Like, if you were to look in Caboose's mind, it's just fucking cobwebs and random shit going on. Like, random noises and whatnot. I don't fucking know. But I feel like that's what it means. Like, he's kind of, like, batshit, like, strong, like, when he wants to be. And there's nothing going on up here. So, Caboose would be and Caboose is with them right now! Oh, shit. Caboose is with them right now. Tucker's with them too. Tucker would be the key, but Caboose would be the true key. You know what I mean? Like, there's a fucking 2-factor authentication. You need Tucker's key, and you need Caboose as a being to access the true depth of whatever this alien is trying to house or keep secret or whatever, and only the true warrior can access it, which is why by the end of it, it seemed like Felix and Locust kind of left empty-handed, right? Because I don't think they had the key that they needed, which was Tucker, and neither of them were this true warrior that the alien, text had depicted or whatever. So actually, it might be Tucker and Caboose in partnership to make whatever happen work in their favor with this alien, God or whatever the case might be. I actually think that might be it a little bit more now. Gary wasn't predicting the present time during season 3, season 4. He was predicting the far-flung future of season 13 potentially, especially if crazy ass shit happens with aliens in the future. But yeah, I'm excited to see how all that happens. Let me know what you guys think about that. That's probably like my most harebrained, like, crack theory that could potentially happen, but I wouldn't put it past them to just make Caboose completely relevant for the sake of just, like, of course the idiot is the one that's the smart is the true key to resolving everything. The following scene from that was very interesting and very satisfying as well, because I mentioned going into this episode that I wanted Sharkface to be more than just a plot piece for nostalgia's sake, right? He, and even in the first episode, he was just kind of like a faceless individual. It's like, does he talk? Is he going to be interesting? Is he going to be a character? Or is he just going to be there for, Project Freelancer drama and bringing up the past and all that stuff? But no, he talks. He's emotional. You're able to empathize with the shit that he went through, as an insurrectionist, even though he was kind of considered, and it just fucking sucks because the further you go back with that, right? CT, airing out the director's dirty laundry, realizing that he was in the wrong, and the insurrectionists were actually the good guys in that instance, or in that, from that perspective. And, people like CT and Pillman and, that blonde chick and that one guy who unfortunately shot Maine in the throat, and the robot arm guy and everybody else in between got fucking leveled by the Freelancers, by Tex, by Carolina, by Maine, by Wyoming, by Florida. And that was Sharkface's homies. That was the only family he knew. And so it fucking sucks to know that, he was also a victim in all of this. You know, I can't really look at him and say, but you're the bad guy. You need to be the bigger person. You need to stop doing this because the freelancers were only doing their job. But at the end of the day, no one was wise enough. No one was smart enough to ask questions, unlike CT. And unfortunately, that led to her demise. Granted, she was free. You know, she was free from the shackles of the guilt. She was free from the shackles of the burden of the director and all of his crimes and them being accessories to it, despite them being literally in the dark, you know, just following orders and all that. So I'm really glad that they gave Sharkface a personality. You know, he's clearly gone through his own form of trauma with, you know, physical therapy, thinking back on his dead friends, and like having an outlet for that in the form of going after two people that were responsible, or two people that he's had a run in the past that he could hold personally responsible for this anger. And he has a sense of purpose as well. I don't know if anyone else thought of this, but I definitely thought of this when I heard it upon rewatching.
Are you finished?
Almost. But you can't rush art. Counselor.
You can't rush art.
Don't know if any of you guys thought of that, but yeah, I thought of Toy Story. And it was forever too. Like, I actually was like, where have I heard that from before? Like, you can't rush art. And it's like, oh, when Woody was being like rebuilt and whatever. And then this guy's spray paint. It's almost kind of like the same scene, right? The guy was like spray painting and painting Woody and fixing him. And this guy's like spray painting his armor and fixing up his gear to go to war with the Freelancer. So I don't know if that was a Toy Story reference or if it's just a coincidence, but both, like, that scene just screamed Toy Story 2 moment for me. I really want to talk about Sharkface right here. And the big reason why is because of something that Carolina said at the end of season 10 of Red vs. Blue.
Epsilon, what you and I were involved with, the things we helped do. I'll be honest, I don't know if we can ever get all the way back to good. But I think that we have a chance to do better. And if we wake up every day and try to make things better, eventually we might find that better is good enough.
And I think that there is a possibility for change, and I think that there is a possibility to do better. And what I mean by this is that Washington, Carolina, the counselor, and Sharkface, in some way, shape, or form, were all victims. They all played into the hands of people that they thought that they can trust, that they were doing this for the war, that they were doing this for the greater good, that they were doing the right thing, that they were the good guys. Freelancers thought that, Counselor thought that, and, you know, the insurrectionists, while on the opposite side of the spectrum, they thought they were the good guys. And at the end of the day, everyone just got fucked over. They are all that's left. Nothing they do will bring the AI back, will bring the freelancers back, will bring the director back, will bring Allison back, will bring Pillman, CT, the insurrectionists. Nothing is ever going to change. The only thing that can change moving forward are these characters' outlook on life and their outlook on the past and how they can make a better future for themselves. And it's literally what Carolina said to Epsilon, like, we'll never be good, but we'll be good enough. We wake up every day, we make the right decisions, we make the right calls. That's the best way that we can move forward. I'm not saying that I'm expecting all of these characters to hold hands and sing Kumbaya and go off into the sunset onto greener pastures. But what I mean is, I really hope, if nothing else, if this does end in just bloodshed of Sharkface and Felix and Locust going against Washington and Carolina, at the very least, I want an attempt to be made to reconcile this with words before the guns and the blades have to be drawn out. A lot of sentiment of moving forward needs to be addressed at the very least, because these are the characters that can live to tell the tale. They know what it's like more than anyone, and the hardest part about all of this is that they have to convince the other person that they're valid in their arguments, that they're valid in their feelings and in their emotions. But the only way to move forward is to really kind of just, like, I don't know, like, apologize and be remorseful for the things that they were all unfortunately duped into doing. It's just tragic to know that, like, I keep saying Pillman now because now I'm remembering him. It's unfortunate to know that Sharkface is being brought back from the grave to potentially die again. Like, that really bothers me. to think that, because I don't think 90% of these past things that are being brought back, I don't think they're going to survive. I don't think the counselor is going to survive. I don't think Sharkface is going to survive. I don't think the Mercs are going to survive. Like, obviously, I know Red versus Blue continues on from this point, so maybe that's a little bit of a spoiler thing for me to be like, okay, well, that's because I have an identity of, or an idea of where things are going from here. But like, it's so unfortunate that that's how it has to be for the characters that are alive, that didn't become a fucking statistic in the death toll of the project, or everything that happened with Charon and the UNSC and, you know, the Freelancers and the Great War and all that stuff. It just sucks because I really understand this man. I understand at his core why he feels the way he does, why he feels the only way to make amends is to kill the people that wronged him, that left him for dead, that killed his friends while he was in physical therapy, and maybe to a degree, right? Maybe to a degree, Sharkface and the counselor feel like they're between a rock and a hard place, because if they don't want to play ball, then they'll just get killed. Sharkface is only involved in this because he has some, you know what I mean? Like, well, he's brought aboard because he feels like they feel like he can be an asset. And the counselor, who I felt pretty sus about initially, he's in this because he feels like this is the way that would have prevented him from getting killed, right? He was like, they were like, oh, we don't need someone like you. You're not a fighter. And then he's like, but I have information, and that information will keep me alive. And as long as I go along with this, I can move on with my life afterwards, after all this is said and done. But if Malcolm Hargrove's plans blow up in their face, it's going to blow up in everyone's face that is subsequently a part of it, being Felix, Locust, now that they have a target on their back if they don't complete their mission, and everyone else under them like Sharkface and like the counselor. So I don't think this is going to pan out well for everyone. I just hope that in the moment when Washington and Carolina are inevitably confronted by Sharkface, them two have the capacity to reason with him first. I can accept that if Sharkface wants to go down swinging, that's his call. It's unfortunate that he's that far gone that he can't cope and move forward and potentially have a chance at getting out alive. And, you know, what life does he have after that? You know what I mean? So I completely understand him feeling like he has nothing left to lose and going balls to the wall with all of this stuff that's going on. But I just hope that Washington and Carolina are mature enough to at the very least reason with him, to say the same things that I'm thinking right now and the things that I'm saying. I hope that they approach him from a level of compassion, a level of understanding, and a level of, we don't need to do this, we can be better. You know, we're the ones who made it for a reason. You know, it doesn't have to be this way. You know what I mean? Like, I just hope that they have developed that far after everything they've gone through to look at to look at their enemy and offer that to them, even if he doesn't take it. I just hope that they offer it at least. Maybe that's a pie in the sky thing. Maybe I'm a little too emotional. Maybe I'm a little too optimistic about that. But I feel like these characters are so different than how they started. They are so multifaceted. They're not these narrow-minded, self-absorbed fucking soldiers that are only looking out for themselves anymore. And I just hope that that extends to everyone that was a part of their past, you know? Like Carolina said, this is one way that you can do better. This is one way that you can be better than how you used to be. And I hope they take it. Felix and Locust, fuck them. They don't... Maybe Locust. We'll talk about Locust. Locust has a chance. Felix, there's no hope for you. I'm sorry, my guy. But we'll have to wait and see. And yeah, so regarding all of that, one moment that I will say, as much as I dislike Felix and Locust as characters because they are considered like the worst of the worst in terms of the things that they've done, I can't help but love their team dynamic. I can't help but love their interactions. This interaction in particular is really awesome. Probably one of my favorites between the two of them.
Just don't cry to me when you lose.
I won't lose. I won't lose.
Too late. Fucked it up.
And like I said, it's super weird that like they can banter like that while at the same time just being professional killers. Like, yeah, we're awesome. We can laugh and joke and, you know, have some banter, but we can also, you know what makes camaraderie even better? being brothers in arms while we kill and murder innocent people. That's the Charon way, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. It's just so fucking removed from anything that I could possibly imagine as a normal human being, you know? Let's talk about Locust. Let's get into the last bit of the episode. So the last bit of the episode, these two would-be warriors think that they're the chosen one. They go through the teleporter, and Locust is alone. The first thing he does actually is activate his camouflage, which is kind of telling that, you know, in the first sign of uncertainty, he decides to hide, and it doesn't work. And then the alien pops up, right? The alien voice. He's like, blah, 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 or whatever. And, you know, he's like, I don't understand. And I thought to myself, I'm like, I really hope Locust doesn't understand. And he's like, I don't understand you. And then the alien says, who are you? And that phrase was not a phrase of like, hey, who are you, my dude? What's up? Who are you? What are you doing here? That was an internal, like, Locust, do you know who you are? That was like a cry for help. Who are you? That was like a, hey, buddy, you've kind of gone off the deep end a little bit. Let's give you some introspection. Let's give you a moment to yourself to really figure shit out before things get any worse. And we get what could potentially become one of my favorite characters in all of Red vs. Blue. Right up there with Church, right up there with Epsilon, right up there with the director. They're kind of all in the same, like, #1 category. For those who don't know, I am a big fan of psychological development. Psychological thrillers are some of my favorite works of fiction. Death Note is probably like the most modern thing that I can think of that like is just my cup of tea. Another video game franchise that I really appreciate and enjoy, I've talked about it in the past, Alan Wake. That story, the writing of that story, the psychological development of that story, how dark it is and how it kind of twists and turns and changes over time is something that I've always appreciated. And I think character development is ultimately king for me when it comes to storytelling. I like lore, I like world building, but I also like seeing a character's journey through that, even if it's not the main character, right? One of my favorite characters in all of anime, Naruto, for example, Neji Hyuga is my favorite character in Naruto. It wasn't always the case, and it took me a really long time to kind of find that out for myself, like who is my favorite character and why they're my favorite character. It's because I always love a story, whether the character starts off good and turns bad, or starts off bad and turns good. I love knowing that change is possible within people. I feel like that's a quality that most people in 2022, especially in a technological age with social media and clout chasing and influencers and you know, content creation, so many people want you to be nothing more than what they perceive you as. They don't want to feel like you have the ability to change as a person. And I feel like the worse we get as a society of that, the more I value it in works of fiction. Because it ultimately just shows that this is what everybody is capable of. Everyone is capable of change. Everyone is capable of true redemption. But at the end of the day, it's hard to tell when it's genuine and when it's performative to please a crowd, you know what I mean? Or to quell an angry mob or whatever the case might be. But obviously in works of fiction, it's there to tell a story. So by nature, it's genuine. Locust's scene was so intense. There was a lot of tension, and the internal conflict starts to the internal conflict kind of starts right from the jump, right? When I first got that, I was like, wait, are these like space fucking aliens or whatever? They had like different armor and stuff. So I was a little confused initially because I'm like, he's on the fucking moon? What? Like, is he in space? Is he on the moon? Like, are these Martians? What the fuck is going on? And then they're like, he's the villain in that moment. And it's a reflection of his past and of these I assume past trauma and guilt that has been repressed for so long, and this alien technology is literally just opening him up to himself. This is during the Great War, and I remember this from when Vanessa was talking to Tucker about Felix and Locust's relationship, how they fought together in the Great War, and like when everyone went back to civilian life, like civilian lifestyle, they were unable to because they were too far gone from killing, and the war changed them and they became monsters and all that stuff. They were wearing the same armor, right? The white and green, or like the beige and green with the green accent. So that was from that same time. And at the time, they're privates. So it's Private Locust, Private Felix, and like their platoon or their squad or whatever, and their commanding officer. So I'm like, So when you see Felix, I'm like, wait, what the fuck's going on? And then it took me a minute to realize that that person on the side was Locust in the past. And he was in the position of what I assume, right? Because so first off, they're in the war with aliens, and based on, so it's hard to like really pinpoint what exactly is happening, but what I infer based on their speak, like on how they're talking, is it was a scenario involving an innocent alien. Like, right, they were like, English motherfucker, like, it's looking at me, what's going on? I don't trust it. Like, they're in a war and they stumbled upon an alien that was not a part of the war, but they couldn't understand it. It was scared, it was defenseless, and Locust was gunning so hard to just fucking put a bullet in it. And that's Locust. That's how he's always been. There's no changing this fucking guy. That's why I said in my reaction, I feel like this process for Locust was the fact that he has the potential to change. And, you know, Felix was like, oh yeah, I went through that shit too with my crazy ass nightmares. But for him, it was just kind of like a, you know, whatever, I don't fucking care. Like, he's not thinking on it because there's no changing him.
What do we have here, men?
Caught us a monster, Captain. I think it understands what we're saying.
Really? Then how about you tell us what you're doing here?
I came through the gateway.
Speak English, motherfucker!
What? Wait. I know you.
Why is it looking at me? Maybe you're just its type.
No. Felix.
I say we blow its brains out.
That's your answer to everything. Impossible.
Hey! You quit eyeballing my men and give me some answers. Are you alone?
I don't understand. You're all supposed to be dead.
What's it saying?
You're me.
Sir, I think it's trying to surrender.
Bullshit, I think it's stalling. Sir, this feels like a trap.
Why don't you recognize me?
Private, I did not ask you for your opinion.
Listen to me!
Hey, watch it! It's getting hostile.
Sir, this thing's wasting our time, and we're in no position to start taking prisoners.
Fine. You two, move into one of these buildings and take it out. Quietly.
What?
Sir, it's scared. If it's smart, it should be. If we can restrain it, Son, you listen here.
No.
You are a soldier. In this war, you are nothing but a suit of armor and a gun. So when I give you an order, you damn well follow it. Do I make myself clear?
No!
But Locust is like pondering on it now because he's like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what did I just go through? And so I think the scenario was that these two privates were in this platoon with this commanding officer. And I fucking hate this commanding officer because he turns to Locust. Locust is the only one showing compassion. It's scared. If we can just restrain it, you know, Felix is like, oh, I think this is an ambush. This is a trap. We don't have time to be taking him. We're not going to be taking in prisoners. Let's just end this here. And the commanding officer is like, you know what, Felix, you're right. You two take that in the back and take it in the back and do away with it as Old Yeller. Take it in the back and, you know, put a bullet in it. And Locust is actually trying to like reason with his commanding officer, and his commanding officer just fucking, listen here, simpleton. All right, you're a soldier and you're a fucking gun. When I give you an order, you damn well do it. Do I make myself clear? And that is the nexus. That is the origin point for this whole warrior shtick. Compound that on top of trauma, war PTSD, guilt, you know, reinforcement from his commanding officer, from people like Felix and people like the chairman who reinforce this behavior with rewards. And you will soon find yourself with a character who believes they're doing what is necessary, that what they're doing isn't wrong. And I just fucking hate how the commanding officer reprimands Locust, but then turns around and goes with what Felix says. You know, it's almost kind of like Felix was just as manipulative back then as he is now. And it sucks that Locust just kind of got overshadowed in that moment and kind of got manipulated into following orders as well. So in that situation, they might have had a commanding officer, but Felix was calling the shots. And then that influenced the commanding officer, which then influenced Locust to go through with it. And it kind of was fucked up too, because at the end of it all, who's the monster now? Locust. He was in the monster's position. He was the one that they were looking at, and it was kind of giving him a taste of like, now you see the damage that you've caused. And it's kind of ridiculous when you think about it, because, you know, all the horrendous acts and all of the subsequent acts that he's done, right? Killing off innocent people for profit, killing off these innocent aliens, killing off the people of Chorus, and God knows what else he's done for hire. You know, it was all justified and reinforced by this soldier mentality. And I almost feel like Locus is a victim of mental abuse, a victim of trauma. And I don't mean that as like a, you know, it absolves him of all the fucked up shit he's done, but there's no moral compass for him to realize why he's in the wrong, because everything around him tells him that he's doing the right thing. And I want to reinforce this too by the fact that, like, it's very clear that he's conflicted and his worldview is being challenged by Washington. And that's why he's so hell-bent on getting Washington's perspective, almost like his approval, or to understand Wash, because, and this is going to be me speculating here now, but I feel like Locus's worldview is I kill, I murder, I steal, I complete the mission no matter what, because I am a soldier and I complete my mission no matter what. That, at that point in the war, he was probably inexperienced, a rookie. You know, he's a private. He has no type of experience of this line of work. And by the end of the war, it changed him into something that people, like, he doesn't even go by his normal name. We don't even know what his face looks like. He's considered to, like, be a monster under that mask. And he goes by Locus because, you know, it's far more like, it's just like, it's a veil. You know, it's kind of like a defense mechanism. I feel like Locus's worldview is that everything that I've always done has been from the perspective of a soldier. And from my perspective and from my worldview and from my experiences and from the things that I've been told by people that trained me, what I'm doing is always right if it's an order given to me as a soldier. But then that is challenged by the fact that someone like Washington, who was also a soldier, who also followed orders, who also did X, Y, and Z, regrets those decisions and says to himself that he was a fucking monster. And it challenges Locus because he's in the exact same spot that Washington used to be in. The thing is, Washington dragged himself out of that dark place and learned and realized that he was in the wrong, that he could be better, and now he is. And that's what makes a redeeming character. That's another thing I love about this whole developmental aspect. Like I said, I love when a character goes from good to bad, like Light Yagami, and I love when a character goes from bad to good, like Prince Zuko. Like, characterization and character development is always king to me, to just prove that that is possible, that is what everyone is capable of. I don't know if it's capable from the perspective of what Locus has done, because I don't think, you know, if Carolina and Washington are like, we can never get all the way back to good with the things we did, magnify that by 10 or by 100, and I feel like that's where Locus and Felix are right now. And so I think there's potential here for Locus. And the worst part about all of this is I feel like at this point, it's a defense mechanism for him to reject like, remember what Wash said to him at the end of season 12? All of those things that he was saying.
Why do you continue to help these people, Agent Washington? You have nothing to gain from them, no reason to fight for them, and yet here you stand putting your life on the line for them.
Is that so hard to understand?
You used to be so much more. You were once an enemy to these men. You were ruthless. You were a survivor.
I was a different person.
No, you were a soldier.
You say that like they're two different things.
When a true soldier is told to kill, he kills. He does not question why. He does not mourn the fallen. He fulfills his role, then moves on to the next.
Is that what you want to be? A true soldier?
No. That is what I am. I'm a professional, Agent Washington. I complete...
Yeah. You complete your missions at all costs. You can say that as many times as you want, but I know what you really are. You're a coward.
Ridiculous.
You keep trying to play yourself off as some sort of weapon, that you don't care about anyone or anything. But the fact that you're trying so hard to understand me breaks your entire act. No matter how hard you may want to be, you're not a machine. You're a murderer. But you hide behind the idea in your head because you're too afraid to take responsibility for what you've done. I know, I used to be a real piece of shit. But at least I'm trying to do something about it.
I feel like at this point, this alien tech, this alien being is challenging Locus to look inward, because up to this point, it's been a defense mechanism. Because if Locus starts saying to himself, hey, maybe I have been wrong. Maybe all of the people that I've wronged and all the things that I've done and all the beings that I've killed weren't the right call just because I was following orders, and maybe I am responsible for my own actions at some point. That would literally just break him down to his very core and destroy him. For him to ever be able to take accountability for all the things that he's done, on top of all the baggage and on top of all the stress and on top of all of the expectations that are on him in this very moment in the middle of this war, on top of the fact that he has now has a fucking, you know, a fucking target on his back from the chairman to finish this mission, or he's gonna get killed along with Felix. And so I feel like this entire time his denial is the fact that he's too afraid to realize that he's in the wrong. And so I don't think he's gonna be a villain, but I also don't think he's gonna be a hero. I think he has the potential to be an anti-hero, someone that's not on the good guy's side, someone that's not on the bad guy's side, but is on his side, and he's going to do things his way. And just because if he decides to challenge Felix or challenge Malcolm or challenge the space pirates, it's not to absolve himself of wrongdoings and become a good guy. It's to realize the error of his ways and to do what Locust will do. I don't know if we'll ever find out his actual name, but whoever he actually is, he's doing it not for Locust, he's doing it for that person. And I don't know if he'll find himself eventually, but I think that's what this is gearing towards. It's gearing towards Locust finding himself again, or rediscovering himself, or finding out who he always was, but who he was changed out of being. And I think this has incredible potential for a redemption arc for him of sorts. And I think maybe even seeing Washington again will get him to realize that at this point. I also feel like at the end of all of this, like when he kind of came back to reality and he like was freaking out for the first time that we've ever seen, where he's like super flustered and he's like, what did you see? You know what I mean? Like he's just so beside himself, and he's like so uncomposed, like what he has been this whole time. And like Felix is like, fucking true warrior. Yeah, okay, stop acting like a little bitch. Let's go. We got work to do. I feel like this could be the start of a driving wedge between them two as mercenary buddies, because Felix is just getting more cocky, and Felix is the reason why they're in this fucking predicament in the first place. I'm surprised no one's put a bullet in his head already, because on 2 occasions, you're right, he talked his mouth off and he kind of outed themselves twice. When Carolina came back into the picture, and they could have just killed the Reds and Blues and then killed Chorus. And then again, when he revealed to everyone on the planet their overall plans and kind of put them in this predicament in the first place. So Felix just doesn't take accountability for anything, whereas Locust has a chance to take accountability, to realize he's wrong, and he'll either spend the rest of his life in prison or he'll go down swinging. And I think that is where things are right now for Locust at the very least. And I really hope that I'm right. I really hope that I'm right, because it's crazy to say, but I feel like we still don't know. And I said it in my season 12 discussion. I was like, I still don't know these characters. I do not know who Felix is. I do not know who Locusts are. And you never really know a character until their back is against the wall. And at this point, I don't think their backs can be any against the wall than ever, right? They got the planet of Chorus aiming at them. They got the Reds and Blues aiming at them. And then they have fucking Malcolm Hargrove pointing a gun in their back like, hey, do the job or we'll find someone else to do it. So they're kind of fucked on both sides unless they get their shit together. But that's everything. That's episodes 5, 6, and 7. I don't know how long this discussion portion is. Probably over an hour long, on top of adding all of the edits and clips and scenes that I want to add to reinforce context for you guys. So you guys don't have to go and do the research and go do the information. I kind of put that in there for like a little extra effort to kind of make the quality a little better for content creation and for consumption. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. But episode 5 through 7 was an absolute banger of a batch. I really, really hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, thank you so much, Georgia, for curating the Red versus Blue experience in the way that you have. The flow has never been more smooth. I've enjoyed the way that she's curated everything since, like, she's been curating Red versus Blue for me since season 4. And I think she's done it all the way up to, I think, the Shizno Paradox, if I'm not mistaken. And so I just really love loved this. Maybe the batch was always curated in a perfect way, but this episode batch in particular just gave me so much shit that I'm looking forward to, which is the villain's perspective, Malcolm's perspective, Felix and Locus's perspective, you know, potential development for all of these characters and things of that nature. So it was just very, very entertaining. I went back and rewatched a bunch of moments during my reaction and when I was rewatching for the discussion portion here. So overall, I'm just very, very excited to check out the next batch. The next batch is going to be episodes 8 through 10. And then I believe 11 through 14. So those are going to take their time because I feel like these, like I said at the beginning of the video, these episodes are getting into like the hour-and-a-half range, 2-hour range. And I would much, much, much rather be consistent and open with you guys about where I feel RVB can come out on a, you know, in terms of a schedule release, because I can't kill myself with doing 2-3 hour videos per week. So again, just to reiterate, I think RVB at the very least might be a bi-weekly upload for YouTube, and it'll go up on Patreon as soon as I'm able to get it out, just so I know what I can handle. On top of me doing Genshin streams, on top of me doing Ruby content, on top of me doing anime content, I just don't want to bite myself. I just don't want to bite off more than I can chew and fall back into this burnout phase of like, I can't watch RVB because if I do, I'll be burnt out, and I don't want to be put in that situation. So this is the best that I can do. I really hope you guys continue to enjoy and appreciate and look forward to my thoughts, my reactions to everything. Big shout out to everybody supporting these on Patreon, as you guys have continued to do so. We've gotten a lot of people back on board for Red versus Blue content in particular, so I really, really appreciate that. Let me know what you guys think about these videos. Please express your interest. Please express that if you guys are enjoying these, what aspects of them do you enjoy. Talk about any moments that I brought up in the comments, whether it's, you know, my theory crafting, my reactions, my hype and excitement to certain moments. I always love hearing you guys talk about RVB and kind of just sharing your thoughts about my speculations and thoughts, or your favorite parts of an episode or whatever. And it's just good to be back. You know, I can't say much more than that. I just appreciate everyone being very open, very warm, very welcoming, and, you know, just very supportive of me whenever I take my breaks. I know that it kind of upsets a lot of people, and I don't want to apologize for doing what I feel is best at the time. I can only say that moving forward, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to try my best, and that's all I can really ask for. That's all I can really do, and that's all I can really expect you guys to expect out of me. But yeah, episode 5 through 7 was great. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. That's all for me, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Take care.